And we're back! You guys miss us? I know you guys didn't, but we're back anyways. This is me. I'm King Hippo. I'm always here with the great and powerful Wonder Chef.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Yes, West Coast Warzone has been on extended hiatus due to temporary bouts of insanity, downplaying, the complete meta. We're going to talk about all of that. But I got to say, it's good to be back. What do you think, Chef?
Yeah, I thought we were dead. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
We rose like Solomon Grundy.
Yeah. Born on a Monday. And it is Monday, so.
It is, in fact, Monday. Yeah, reborn on a Monday.
Yeah. So, obviously, a ton of shit has happened in the past couple of weeks. But let's keep it simple. Let's start with yesterday afternoon. They had a local for EGP, which was meant to be actually a regional. So why don't you tell us how that happened?
Well, it was a great tournament, first of all. It's called Resurrection, run by Brian Compton of EGP, and the rest of the EGP crew, of course, Friar Bob and such. And yeah, it was a good tournament, pretty good turnout. Of course, one of the biggest issues was, unfortunately, the stream.
Yeah, it went down, I saw.
Yeah, we had internet issues, so we actually didn't get to stream Injustice. We only streamed KI and MK9. Yeah, there was some issues with their internet there, or something like that. So I don't know exactly the details, so I'm not going to get into it. But it's all right. It was still a great tournament. The stream was great while it was up. So we had KI, MK9, and Injustice. Let's see, KI, we had 8 people for KI.
Nice.
The usual, I guess. And I got bodied, free. And Steve won. Steve is the champion. Farquad Steve. Farquad Steve. You know, my brother actually mentioned Farquad the day after we recorded that podcast for no reason. It was weird.
Goddamn right.
All right, then Hitbox Tyrant got second.
Hitbox Tyrant, nice.
Yeah. And Active got third. I think played Sadira. And I don't know anything about KI, so I'm just going to skip that. I think that's okay.
Steve did get top 8 at SCR, so it's not out of this. Not crazy that he won.
Yeah. It was. I think it was expected. He's good at that game. So then we had MK9. MK9 was really good. We had like 20 people for MK9. Still kicking. Pretty happy with that.
That's much better than most scenes, I would argue.
Yeah. First place was Slayer. Slayer said it was his first MK win at an EGP tournament, which is kind of crazy, considering how good he is.
Wow.
Yeah, and second place was Seven, who is a good Ermac, who everybody hates, I believe. Yes. But he got me too. And third place was surprisingly Theo.
Yeah, I'd heard about this, and I was like, what?
I know. Yeah, nobody expected it, but Theo, he used Kenshi and Jax and made it all the way to winners finals.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what's funny is, for those who don't know, Theo has a near encyclopedic knowledge of every MK thing ever.
Near encyclopedic is not even giving it enough credit. He knows
it's autistic.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he knows. Him and 16-bit were talking EVO 2011 brackets. No one cares about EVO 2011 but those two, and somehow they managed to work out the entire top 32, I think.
They could have figured out the entire tournament. It's ridiculous. You could say, hey, final round 2012. Who was top 8? Yeah. And Theo could just list them, every single one. Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah. So, even though he wasn't a big figure in MK9, he knows everything about it.
Yeah, he wasn't that good in MK9 times. It didn't seem like. I beat him in tournament once. He showed up to a few things. He didn't really place, but, he bodied everybody this tournament. It was nuts.
Wow. That is pretty nuts.
Yeah, and I got a surprise 4th, so I'm happy with that.
There you go. Reptiles not viable still?
Man, fuck you. I lost to Cabal.
It's Cabal.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't mean Reptile's not viable.
Actually, I don't know, man. I did go all Reptile. I was going to go noob, but then I did go all Reptile, so whatever. We'll talk about that later. Reptile sucks.
Oh my god.
Dude, Reptile sucks.
We are not getting back. This is bunk. We are not getting back into this.
I didn't run into any bad matches, but whatever. We'll keep going.
All right, we'll move on. All right, so Injustice.
Injustice, the one that everybody knows the best. So it was a ridiculously stacked tournament. Like, it was one of the hardest tournaments I've been to. I'm not even joking. So let's see. I'm just gonna run through like the brackets and first rounds. A lot of buys. First round. Well, of course, we had the Arizona guys show up.
Right.
We
Evan,
had
Chris, and Alex were there.
Yep, which is of course Lobo, Bad Larry, and Citizen Snips.
The real
Who
citizens.
don't know them? Yeah, the not Asian Citizen Snips.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I call them. So let's see. We had some good matches first round. Armor and Lobo fought first round. Armor, of course, playing Zod, and Lobo now I know is in a character crisis. Yeah. Yeah, I've been talking to him all day about who he thinks, or who I think he should use against like Superman and such. And I think he was using mostly Bane this weekend.
Yeah, he's been using Bane a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean Zod, it's Zod,
Yeah.
so that's always going to be tough. And so Armor beat Lobo, and then who else do we have? So we had Slayer and Larry. It seems like Slayer and Bad Larry play like every tournament. Have you noticed?
Yeah, that happens a lot, yeah.
Yeah. And dude, I played Bad Larry this time in casuals a bit, and he's getting way, way better.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah. But Slayer was invincible this tournament.
Right.
So he did take out Larry. And then who else did we have? Crazy lost first round to EGP Justin Bieber. Is actually what he signed up as. It was Satsui, little kid with his also invincible Superman.
I love, like, the last time I seen Satsui was when you guys came for the Dojo Sports thing. That was like back in August.
Mm-hmm.
Completely shaved head. I saw him at STR. He has this beautiful rack of hair, just a solid block on his head, and I was like, "Who?" I didn't even know who it was. And then I looked at his face and I'm like, "Oh, wait, that's Satsui. What the fuck?"
Yeah, he's silly, but he's been playing a lot of characters. He's dangerous. If he'd come to more tournaments, he would be one of the top players, like easy. Wow. He plays like every top tier. It's dumb. But then
sounds like someone else I know.
I don't even actually know who you're talking about exactly.
Oh my God. Do I have to address it?
Sure.
The guy who got top 8 using Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Black Adam.
Man, whatever. I did use a lot of top-ish tiers. At least I didn't use like Superman and Martian and Aquaman or something like that. True. It was a step below that. But we could talk about that later.
Yes.
Then Citizen Snips played Brad first round, and he had a really, really, really good showing. He beat wait. No, he didn't. Well, he unfortunately Brad not unfortunately, but unfortunately for you guys, Brad won. Citizen Snips was doing really well, but he didn't quite know how to block Earthshaker. Yeah, which is of course something you got to know.
Right.
And basically, I won't push too far into the bracket, but Theo was eliminated, Theo got knocked into losers by Slayer, kind of early, which was surprising.
Right.
And nobody expected that. Slayer's been a little bit down recently, but he played great. And then Big Boy got to winners finals, also with Slayer. Big Boy, of course, what did he get? Top 16? 9th place?
Yep.
SCR?
Yep.
Yeah, he eliminated me. Or not eliminated, knocked me into losers. I actually used all Shazam this tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tough.
O-tier hero?
Yeah. Well, I actually used all Shazam at a Wednesday Night Fights last week, and I got second. So I'm kind of proud of that.
It's top tier hero.
Yeah, maybe top 3. Top 3 Shazam.
Shazam might be top 3.
Secret top 3.
Yeah. All right. So, and then I believe Theo ended up running it back in losers. If I recall.
Yeah. Theo did. He reset and won the whole thing. We can't stop Theo. Big Boy got 3rd, Slayer 2nd, and then I think Chaotic Armor got 4th. Mr. Zod, who beat me. Damn it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was close though. So
all right.
It was a good tournament. It was really fun. Really tough. Really hard bracket. I mean, we had Theo, Slayer, Big Boy, Armor. All those people were top 16, or within the top 16. Actually, if you look at like the top 7 people, it was Theo, Slayer, Big Boy, Armor, me, and Crazy, which were all top 16 at SCR.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, all of Arizona was there. We had Satsui, who's insane. Brad, who's great. Tyrant. Everybody.
Ooh, Tyrant.
Yeah, Tyrant, I think, is a bit bummed out. He went 0-2 this tournament. He lost to Chaotic Zombie, who used, I think, Cyborg on him.
Ooh, that's a killer.
Yeah, Cyborg versus Grundy. Nobody likes that matchup.
No.
Yeah, and then he ran into, then Tyrant lost to Red Reaper, playing Martian, Martian is really good now.
Naturally.
Yeah, so, but, yeah, I think Tyrant's kind of bummed. I mean, he did well in KI, but,
It's just KI, whatever. Glacius.
He uses Spinal, by the way, who's really cool. I'd never seen Spinal before.
He is cool. That run that he does.
Yeah, dude. When Tyrant would kill somebody like in between rounds, he would just start running back and forth because he laughs when he runs. So he just basically looks like a maniac running back and forth across the street, going ha 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 ha. It was awesome.
God, Spinal's a great troll.
Yeah, man. If I like play the game seriously, I'd probably play Spinal. He's dope.
He is.
So that's pretty much it.
Sounds like a pretty good tournament there.
Yeah, it's classic EGP.
Yeah, it's unfortunate I wasn't able to make it. I didn't know. I actually thought it was Saturday, and even then, I went to Tucson. There's an arcade in Tucson called Arcade in a Box. It finally closed its doors. That I went to the closing of. So I wasn't able to make it, but it sounds like a good time. I got a lot of texts saying Doomsday's broke. What are we going to down one Earth Shaker? I didn't have anything to offer besides low gunshots, so I couldn't really say anything.
You're like, just sword spin. Just sword spin and wake up.
Sword spin on wake up, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it's a tournament. It's sad that Arcade in a Box is closing.
Yeah, it's technically it closed a while ago. I want to say about last year. It wasn't feasible to keep it open. They had the building. I believe the lease was finally up. So Ed Farias, he's the proprietor. He threw one last big thing, and everyone was there. Really good little turnout, and it's a shame. They made great sticks. I love, some people have Arcade in a Box sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good place. I've only been there a few times, and I actually never went when it was an arcade. But the times I've been there, I really enjoyed it. Tucson guys are really friendly. In fact, Nick Driftwood and Velociraptor of the AE scene are from Tucson. So their personalities, just take that, and that's all of Tucson, basically. But they're fun Gupper guys, so it was nice to be there. So, hopefully I can start making out some more stuff. SCR, I want to take a break. I was mentally, totally exhausted from SCR, which we'll get into now, I guess. So, congrats to both of us, I guess.
Yes, let's congratulate each other. Good job, Hippo.
Yes. Good job, Evan.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, you did place higher than me, so I'm kind of salty, but.
Hey, I honestly, though, I think if I'd run into White Boy, I would have lost.
Yeah. My theory is if I had beaten White Boy, and theoretically I could have beaten DJT, if I had faced you, I am your master in tournament, so I could have won.
Yeah, you are, but I was on that Aquaman. And I've never lost to Doomsday, to Deathstroke with Aquaman in tournament. So I had confidence that we'll see. We would have seen.
We would have seen. Can I officially be Slayer's master in tournament? It's only the second time.
I guess so. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
With two different characters?
Uh,
I don't know.
Maybe
SCR from
one more
top to bottom was a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
Always.
Obviously, we enjoyed it. But yeah, no, seriously, I loved every part of it, pretty much. I don't even have any complaints.
Yeah, me neither. It's the only. I mean, the fire alarm obviously was a blow up, but
Yeah. But
it had
it
to have
wasn't
been
that bad.
vapors.
Think so? Does that even, like, set off the alarm?
Uh,
I legitimately don't even know how that works. Like, if that would work. Whatever. It's got to have been something. Maybe it's just some idiots.
yeah, it could be. I don't know. Either way, it delayed the tournament a little bit, but VIA always is constantly making sure things are on track, so
Hmm.
we never had that issue.
Yep, and of course, EGP, again, running the American games.
Ryan Compton.
Yep. And
Crew
the
and
rest.
Co.
Mm-hmm.
Crew. Yeah, so Injustice MK9. Which I had super mixed feelings about watching, but P-Board winning was pretty good to see.
Yeah.
P-Board, he cares a lot, so it's always good when guys like that win.
Mm-hmm.
And shout outs to 16-Bit for getting third, and then having just to fight that huge crowd in the front row. That was tough. Everyone was so on P-Board slide. I mean, because it's been a long time coming, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, P-Board has always practiced really hard, and he's always been really good, but he's always just been so close to making, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even, like, making top 8 has been, like, really a struggle for him, but...
Didn't he get 9th at SCR 2013?
I think so, yeah. I think he lost to Cowboy to make it in.
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
Cowboy Sonya.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Yes. God, Sonya's dumb.
Dude, I know.
Yeah, well, I mean, either way, it was a good little tournament. I ended up entering and got, like, super blown up, which was awesome. By Sonya, twice.
That sucks. I don't even know which pool you're in. I didn't see it.
I don't remember either because it was last minute sign up. It's funny in the midst of all this death pool, and we'll get to final round obviously later. I should feel like a douche for going last minute to the guy and be like, "Can I get an MK?" Man, but either way, yeah, good little fun tournament. Although I've seen there was no heist greater than the heist that Crazy pulled on Satsui to get in the top 8. That was ludicrous.
Oh my god. I can't even tell you how bad it felt seeing Satsui with that lead and just Crazy just like, oh yeah, I hit you.
He Cyraxed him.
It was the ultimate Cyrax.
Dude, that was highway robbery.
I was on commentary for that match and I just said, that's crazy.
I mean, the pun was good. I liked it.
Yeah. That's what you got to say when Crazy pulls that off. But, I mean, I really wanted to see them both top 8. They're both my friends. We play together a lot. Right. So I'm glad one of them did, but such a bummer for Satsui, because he's so good.
Yeah, that was bad. That was, like, thievery. But, yeah, it was a good tournament. I think it was the top 3. I think it was P-Board, 16-Bit, and 7?
No. It was P-Board and 16-Bit and... Was it...
Oh,
Forever King?
Jeff? Oh, no. Forever King. That's right. I forgot Forever King.
Yeah, I think it was Forever King. I'm really sad that I don't know who else placed. But West Coast Jeff did get top 8. I'm really proud of him. He's insanely good, too.
Yeah. I'd seen him only a little bit, but I was impressed. Even if it is Cabal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the game's at a point where it's like, it's not like, oh, well, they just play top tiers. It's like, well, how do they play the top tiers? Because, I mean, so, you can appreciate top tier play just because there's so many of them.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I enjoy. There was some enjoyment to be had. And then Injustice, that was pretty nuts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm so unfortunate that the early pools. I mean, you can find bits and pieces of the early pools, but they were not like we got to see the later half of the tournament. But for my money, that first half was crazy from start to finish. I mean, even starting in pool one, we had PPJ getting taken out by Filipino Man.
Yeah,
Then
that's
PPJ running it
big.
back. Yeah, and then PPJ ran it back. Then White Boy beat PPJ.
It was just literally like the tournament of upsets. Like,
Right. Legend beat Ducky.
yeah, he almost beat DJT too.
That's true. Yeah, I saw that match.
Yeah, one hit away, and he would have changed the entire tournament.
Gosh.
What were some
Yeah,
other big ones?
uh,
I mean, of course,
the Theo Snake was close.
yeah, that was close.
Yeah, wait.
That was close.
That was close. Me and Tyrant had an amazing match.
Yeah, I heard there was like you and Tyrant and Digit and Tyrant and Digit and you, like, those were all real matches, right?
Yeah, those were all super, super close. 2-1s. Every match was like last pixel. Insane.
Yeah, man, that's nuts.
Yeah.
What a nuts pool. Like, you go into a tournament, you're thinking like, well, I'm going to look for, the Superman and the Black Adams and the Martian Manhunters and the Aquaman. And like the three best players in your pool are like a Grundy, Deathstroke, and Shazam.
Shazam. And then, I mean, I was worried about, not worried, but I was ready for Scorpion too, because Immortal Angel was there.
Yeah, that's right. But Immortal Angel actually played Batman the whole tournament, I think. Or at least most of it.
I think Angelus ended up putting him out.
Mm.
And then I put Angelus out, and then I had to play Digit.
Got it.
But yeah.
I thought he could upset some people. I'm really sad that he used Batman.
Yeah. I believe your sole Scorpion rep was Cash, who didn't fare so well, unfortunately.
Yeah, he ran into one of the Oakland guys, I think.
NorCal Samurai, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Superman player, was it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had what else was there? Like, of course, everybody had Cowboys winning the whole tournament.
Oh, okay. I mean, we got to talk about that. The doom and gloom on Friday was almost unbearable. I mean, we were talking, we just, and like I said on KTP, you're walking around, you just hear, God, Cowboys' new tech is so broke. I was sworn to secrecy. I can't tell anybody, but it's broke. All day we were hearing that. And then out of nowhere, a random white boy appears.
Mm-hmm.
And just, like, Forever King versus Wound, you'd be like, okay, Forever King's good, Wound is good. It could have gone either way. Mm-hmm. White boy was not expected to win.
I mean, as much as I'd like to say that either of us were, I think we have to say, or at least I have to say, White Boy was MVP of the tournament. Like,
oh yeah, he was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, like he was Player's Choice Award for the freaking tournament. So many upsets. It's just played so well. Like nobody expected it. It was godlike.
Right.
It was great.
Yeah. That was awesome. He got out of pool one in losers.
Nubs made out in winners. There.
We had Nubs making out in winners. Yeah.
Of course, I'm really proud of Nubs.
Nubs would end up making top 8.
Mm-hmm. Both of them did.
Yep. Let's see. We had Theo and Dink made out of pool 2.
Yeah, Dink tied for highest solo Martian at the tournament. So like,
yes, yeah,
I'm surprised, and like I guess technically he backed up that shit talk thread. Technically,
yeah, a little bit. I was impressed with Dink's play for the most part.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate he was like, "What's a Slade Wilson?"
Oh, that's right. You got him. I like that matchup though, as Deathstroke.
It's not bad. I played a lot with Bad Larry.
Yeah.
So like, could be. I mean, there's worse characters to fight Martian with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yourself, you were in pool 7?
5, I think.
Pool 5. Had MIT and what's it? Elite Goomba, I believe.
Wait, what?
Your pool?
Oh, my pool had it had MIT, Goomba, it had Brad, it had Bad Larry, Mashed Potato Tower, and then that Chaotic Goon guy. I guess, was okay. He made
Holy
it to winners final somehow.
sh- we gotta talk about that match,
My favorite match of all time.
dude. Every bit of hype I had about that tournament wilted during that match. Yes, it was sagging low.
Dude, I think it
And
was so unhype that it was hype. It like circled around.
I don't know about that.
Dude.
It was pretty rough, man. And I don't mean to shit on Goon too much because he was really. I mean, he got to winner. He got to finals of his pool, so clearly he was doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
But he's dropping 4-2-3. Like he's dropping 4-2-3.
Yeah.
It was just rough, and then Black Adam's just jumping back. Sounded like an old Jewish man dancing. Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, you got out, and you beat Goomba along the way, so.
Yeah, I mean, I was really prepared to fight MIT, but then MPT, like...
Oh, my God. Can we talk about Mashed Potato Tower? Who knew he was real, first of all? Like, I think that was the most said phrase of the tournament. You're real?
Dude, I know. He was like... He just randomly decided to show up last minute, and, like, I met him the day before, and I was like, what? Mashed Potato Tower?
Yeah, it was so weird. And he ended up eliminating Brad.
Yeah. He knocked MIT in the losers and eliminated Brad. So pretty good.
Knocked out MIT's Bill Girl.
Yeah, he beats him and he's just like, bad girl's a Bill.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh shit! And then I believe MIT put him out. I believe in the run back.
Yeah, in the run back, yeah. And then he also lost to Chaotic Goon.
Oh, right, Goon.
He tried choosing Deathstroke against Goon's Superman, and it didn't work out.
I did see that. That was interesting. Goomba was one that didn't have that good of a tournament. AK in general didn't have a great tournament, I think.
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, there was 3 of them, right? There was
Reno Rax, Elite Goomba, and Trey Pound, who had been lost at sea until buoyed into the SoCal harbor, at which point he was brought to SCR.
Yep, and where he got as the prop fishing. No, not prop fishing. What am I talking about? The stock market thread, which is sort of a prop fishing thread. As it said, he got stuck in pools. And needed help to get out.
Needed help getting out.
Mm-hmm.
Sajam cut him down twice.
Yep. I heard there was some shit talk going on within that set.
Oh, well, what I remember was at the end of the set, I didn't see anything. I mean, I know Trey Pound talks some shit during matches. Kind of, that's what really anybody does. But at the end of the match, Sajam won and went like, yes, SoCal, blah, blah, blah. And then he said, stop mashing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was some words exchanged. And I could hear Trey Pound muttering, better not come to final round, bruh. Better not come. So maybe some words were exchanged. Now, as I said, to his credit, I don't know what else Hot Girl's supposed to do but mash. It's a little unfair on Steve's part, I think.
That's true, but Trey was talking a lot of shit to me and Brad preemptively, and I mean...
I remember that. The Twitter thing.
Yeah, there was a very specific thing where he said, like, my favorite line of all time, which is, he said, I don't need frame data to beat you, or something like that. Like, I never needed frame data, and I still don't need it to beat you guys.
Why would he be talking randomly about frame data?
I have no idea.
What the fuck?
It was weird. I have, like, the Twitter link. It was weird, but...
It's just...
Yeah, he talked hella shit on us, and of course Brad plays Hot Girl also, and they were talking about who's the better Hot Girl. And, Brad and Steve are, like... husband and wife.
Right.
Basically.
Waifu.
Husbando and waifu.
Yeah, husbando.
So, he, like, defended Brad's honor. It was cute. No, but really. Steve did great, though. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, made top 8. Hey.
Top 8.
And immediately retired.
Immediately retired.
It's like, I'm taking it, I'm leaving.
Yeah. I should have done that. Fuck. Why didn't I think of it?
Dude, you haven't been to a tournament since. You can retire.
That's true.
But don't do it.
I might.
You're thinking about it now. Don't you dare.
I might have to. God, that was an emotional night. There was a lot of emotion running high. A lot of friends playing each other in top 16.
Yep.
We had Theo versus Tyrant. Very emotional match.
Yes, with the finger wag, which I have to mention, which is I think possibly my favorite moment of all of SCR.
Yeah, that was.
It was hilarious.
He did like Beyonce, like if you like it, you should put a ring on it. Like he did that. That was awesome, and he didn't turn around either. That was the best part.
He didn't turn around, and they showed it on stream. And if you look at the stream, you can see me in the background. I literally fell down on my knees. Like I was standing up, and I just fell to my knees at how ridiculous it was that he would do that. Like in the match to get top 8 at SCR, he just shakes his head and does the little finger wag, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
That was awesome. Let's see who else. We had Crazy and Big Boy. Which I believe Big Boy won.
I can't.
Barely. It's very close.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think he's the one that got him.
Big Boy put out 16-bit as well.
Yeah, that was another big upset. Was 16-bit.
I don't. Yeah, and I think at this point, I think it's no longer an upset. Big Boy's really good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not now. I mean,
it's a good player versus a good player.
Yeah, like I said, he got winners finals last night, so
yeah,
top 3.
And yeah, the GA could have had a better tournament, but they were good sports for the most part. A lot of fun hotel shenanigans, cupcakes to be had, Guamo cake to be had. Let's see what else happened.
Of course, me versus Slayer to make top 8.
Oh, right. That was nuts.
Yeah, it was a bummer. And Slayer just had such a mental block against Aquaman, or had at least at that point in time. Like, it's still his demon right now. He's got to get over that, which is a shame. But, yeah, dude, it felt bad. But, like, you got to go all out at a major,
Right. No chance. No friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I played Dink, and I was on a bit of a high. I was on a high, very, very riled up after that win.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I looked at Slayer, and I said, "I don't care if it's you or Chef, bring it on." and then after that, I saw him look incredibly crestfallen after he had lost.
Yeah.
He looked like he was being sent to. He's waiting for the governor to call, basically. So I felt like going in, I might have had a bit of a mental advantage. Didn't show it in the first, match and a half, but I think I did. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. I didn't. Big moment. You and Chef, were you in 6? It was so. I could hear 16-bit during the whole match. That's how loud he was on commentary.
He was like, he was popping off on Dave so hard. It was.
Oh ridiculous. Yeah, afterwards, yeah. If you can find the EGP archive for SCR, you should find that. That's actually quite funny.
Yeah, it was great. He was like,
yeah.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even remember exactly.
I think he's like, we are done with M2 Dave's downplaying.
Yeah. It was. There we go. Clearly, you've watched it.
Yeah.
Clearly, you've watched it several times.
Oh yeah, several times. You got to relive the glory.
Yeah, of course.
And the down 2.
Dude, yeah, you basically won that entire. You basically got top 8 through down 2s.
Yeah, pretty much.
You exposed the magic that is Deathstroke's down 2.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not just down 2s, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. But yeah, it's a big part. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
And then Deathstroke has not gotten to top 8 in about a year. So that was pretty interesting.
Was it just
UFGT?
Slips UFGT? Yeah. And that was it, right?
Yep.
Wow. Was that pre-patch?
No, it was Deathstroke. It was pre-patch for the game, but Deathstroke had been patched at that point.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, so you paved some new ground, man. You proved M2 Dave wrong. How do you feel about that?
Well, it was great because at first I was getting props because because I knew what would happen was I was getting the props for like, Deathstroke's not that good. He's just really, really good player. Like I knew those props were coming, and I was ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
But then Dave was like, "Oh, you fool! Deathstroke, he's still bad. King Hippo, good player." And then I was like, "All right, Dave, let's." Then I made a matchup chart where I was honest, and I said, he might have like 3 or 4 bad matchups. And Dave went ape shit. Like he was like, "This fool, is the Deathstroke community stupid? Come on, dude." And then I thoroughly smacked him down back to earth.
Damn.
In the thread, and he hasn't been heard of since. He'll come around often, but I think now we know the score. I think the jig is up.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you proved a lot. It's not like you frauded your way into top 8.
Let's be serious. I did. I had to beat a Shazam.
Well, okay, but
No,
then
you
had to beat a Martian and a Superman. So come on.
I had to beat 2 Martians to get top 8. That's an 8-2 matchup according to Dave.
2 Martians.
2 Martians.
Who else?
I can't remember his name. I feel really bad because he beat me in MK. I think he's from NorCal. He played Martian, and it was after I lost to Tyrant, I played him, and he used Martian.
Ah.
Yeah, so.
Let me check. I conveniently have all the brackets up because
good.
EGP does it so well. You guys are both 3?
Yeah. Uses challenge smartly.
Yep. Oh, was it Angelus?
No, he played Doomsday.
Kevin 7?
Kevin 7.
Yeah, he's from Seattle or area.
Oh, he's from Seattle. Okay.
Yeah, he's from Washington.
Okay. Yeah, he used Martian.
Huh. I've seen him use a few characters, but never Martian, so that's cool. He's good. He's a really good player.
He's pretty good. It was close. And then, so Deathstroke is back on the map, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. I think it's hard to argue that.
Yeah, pretty much. I was doing an argument. The other day where to me him, like it's basically 16-bit coined the term those tools argument, where when he's talking about Catwoman, people will be like, yeah, she has this, and that flaw, but with those tools, she's got to be good. And those tools is a super vague way of saying, like, God, she has broken tools. Now, a lot of people say that for Wonder Woman. This, and that, but with those tools, she's got to be top 5. And then I'm thinking, but can't you say the same for Deathstroke? They're both super well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, like, overly dominating. They're just super well-rounded. Couldn't it be argued? Now, obviously, I think her damage is better for a trade-off of not having any full-screen presence. Deathstroke has full-screen presence at the cost of not as much damage. But I would argue they're both probably occupy the same spot where they're just super well-rounded and are viable characters.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So that's where I think Deathstroke will end up landing. Well, he'll always be pretty much viable because he's just a solid character that can fight most every character.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree with that. He's super solid. I mean, I've been playing him a lot recently, like even right before SCR too. I almost used all Deathstroke at SCR, actually, believe it or not.
Stolen my thunder.
No, I probably would have just got bodied in pools. Would have been sad. But
yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, he's good. I mean, I think the argument's over at this point.
Yep, pretty much. End argument.
Yep. Someone who maybe didn't fare as well was, and there's 2 characters here, Sinestro and Raven.
Ooh, so we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. So we had Wound Cowboy lose to Forever King and White Boy, and then immediately went insane. Now Sinestro's unviable. Now he's not going to use it. He might use Deathstroke now. I wonder where he got that from. Wink, wink. I wonder who went even with him in casuals. Wink, wink.
Damn, feeling yourself.
And now he's gonna use Aquaman. I mean, this is obviously bunk, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Sinestro's good. Like,
it's ridiculous to insinuate what he's been insinuating. It's just ridiculous. Like, I don't understand it, man. Like, I mean, you could cite playing to win in top 8. You could. I wouldn't like to, but you could. And I mean, just with everything he's done, I mean, he's just saying stuff like, because, you know, he's actually in the Hype Skype chat for some reason, and him and Ducky, they talk about how, like, oh yeah, Sinestro's zoning is just terrible. He says Sinestro's zoning is, like, worse than Deathstroke's, which I think is wrong. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I would disagree.
Yeah, he says he's got, like, some of the worst zoning in the game, and he's not a good character, and, like, not even competitively viable. And it's ridiculous, man. I mean, Sinestro's great. I mean, I've used Sinestro in tournaments before and done well. Like,
playing to win just got top 8. Beat Forever King.
Yeah, man, beat a lot of good players. Harold, Smar, Forever King. As much as I hate to say it.
Of course, I know you do. I know you're holding that. But the jig is up. Sinestro has pedo mustached his way into being a good character.
Yeah, man. And, jump back
to
to
me,
Arax.
Yeah, exactly. To me, the problem to me is, or where I see a problem, is that I don't like the implication when they say, when someone like that says Sinestro's super unviable and not good and loses all top tier characters, and then we're supposed to write off all the great placings as, God, I was just so much better than everybody else and nobody knew anything of it. I don't like the implication.
Yeah, it's really messed up. Like, I mean, obviously Cowboy's a good player, but like...
Right, of course. This is not discounting his skill at all, but I think the rhetoric needs to be toned down a bit. I think it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, let's dial it back, because now now we're sounding like, well, I was just so much better than nobody knows anything about zoning. Like, they got to understand he has to understand the inherent ridiculousness in saying something like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you say something like that, that basically means that everybody that you've ever beaten or placed above sucks. You know?
Yeah.
Like, when you go and say, like, yeah, man, I've been, placing well with a not totally unviable character. Like, it's ridiculous, and that's messed up, and it's stupid.
90% of players are terrible.
Basically. And then, of course,
that's a quote.
Oh, really? They said?
Yeah.
Damn. That's messed up.
And I love Wound. He's awesome. But you can't have a bad tournament and then immediately just go full retard emo. It won't work out.
Yeah, and of course it's spread to Ducky, who
now has it. Now this is interesting. I don't actually know about this.
Yes, it has more than anybody knows except for Hype Skype. Like, I mean, okay, so pre-tournament, me and Ducky, we talked about Raven a lot. We figured stuff out, and we said,
I heard it.
Yeah, I mean, it was on this show even. Like, we said, okay, Raven's probably top 10. She's good. She's a really good character. We talked about the bad matchups, etc. We, recap. There was like 3 bad matchups max, and they were winnable, except for maybe Grundy. And then he ended up, losing to Legend, who was obviously a good player. Superman, can't hate on that. And then he lost to White Boy, who was also just out of his mind that weekend.
Had a great turn, and that might even be a bad matchup. Like, on paper, you can see why.
It might, or it could just be, see, Doomsday's. I mean, there's a million things that could have been. Like, Doomsday's a character that you need to stay in control, and you need to block all the Earthshakers. And if you're not on point, you're gonna miss that. You're gonna get bodied. You're gonna get stuck in the corner, etc. And, Ducky could have been off a little bit. It could have been a hard matchup. It could have been just, oh, God forbid, White Boy playing better,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And, So, regardless one way or another, it happened. He lost twice, and he now started hanging out with Cowboy again, and he thinks that Raven is like 20th in the game, like just not a good character. He thinks she's bad. He thinks she has like very few winning matchups, and like has like 7 or 8, probably like 10 losing matchups. Like, and he very seriously thinks this. Like, he came into Hype Skype and he told us all, like, basically, you all suck. You have no idea how to fight against my character. None of you guys are good. Like, Cowboy's the best player to have ever fucking lived. And basically he just said we all sucked and that Raven sucks. And it's a bummer. And they're just him and Cowboy are just going on crazy shit. Like Lobo. Like, obviously Lobo's good, but for some reason they have it in their heads now that Lobo's like potentially like top 5.
Top
And
5.
yeah, like, and they've got this like crazy like matchup chart for Lobo when neither of them mains Lobo. And like they have it, Lobo beats like almost everybody in the game, and like obviously Cage Redfield is not happy with that list, and me too because I do play a lot of Lobo. Like, just some nonsensical matchups. Like, Grundy might be the hardest matchup for Lobo, and they have it as like 5-5. And like Batman's really hard, and they have it as like 6-4 or better for Lobo. It's retarded. I don't get it, man. But they're just going insane. They've seriously just gone insane. Like, Ducky and Cowboy are just off the deep end right now. Like, everybody gets that time after they lose to be emo. Everybody gets it. They're gonna say, "Oh, my character sucks." It could be even longer. It could be like, here, have a week, have 2 weeks. But this is like permanent. It's been, a month and a half, and they're still just going insane.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
I'm bummed.
Like, it's like, I don't think I would lose the next tournament and be like, God, Deathstroke sucks. Everyone who's ever played against me is balls. Because I think I have the forethought to see, like, that's a ridiculous statement.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even if, like, you could just say, like, say you go and you lose to, like, a Black Adam, you could suddenly be like, or I could see somebody saying, like, oh, Black Adam, that matchup's unwinnable for my character. But going and changing the entirety of how your character, like, is looked at, that's weird. Like, why not just say, like, why didn't they just say, oh, Doomsday bodies our characters? Why did they have to say, everybody bodies our characters?
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's messed up. And it's mean.
It's kind of a bummer. There's one bad thing to come out of SCR. It was probably that.
Yeah.
Which was indirectly caused by the tournament, which sucks.
But that's how it is. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due, and White Boy was just insane. Like, obviously,
White Boy was good.
I'm loving how he was playing that weekend, obviously.
Right.
So
White Boy was great, and Theo ended up winning. Forgot to mention that.
Dude, Theo winning things is like a given now. He's won every single tournament since SCR also.
That's true, yeah. And it looked close for a minute against Forever King, but he clutched it out.
Yep.
And DJT ended up getting second. That was actually a pretty nice little surprise.
Yeah, we hadn't seen him for a while.
Yeah. Forever King third.
Yep.
So overall, pretty good little tournament.
Why'd you stop at third?
Oh, I forgot. You got fourth. Yeah, I forgot about that whole thing.
Yeah, somebody got fourth. I don't remember who.
Right.
I'm just kidding. I'm fishing for props. It's been a month and a half. I'm still fishing for props. Let's be honest.
I mean, I am too. I mean, it's I don't think we're not immune to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good tournament. A lot of upsets, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think for all the salt that was there on Saturday, I think by Sunday we'd all worked it out of our systems. And then we also, I mean, we can't ignore this. Got to give props to 16-Bit for holding his own against the complete meta of SoCal. I mean, he put on quite the show.
Yeah, are we talking about the exhibition match, complete meta?
Yeah, the Sunday.
Yeah, he bodied me. He got me. I mean, there were a lot of close matches, but he got me. Like,
yeah. And he played Nubcakes.
Yep. He did play Nubcakes.
Played Brad.
You know, the real surprising one was Crazy. He mirrored Crazy, Catwoman and Catwoman.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, the score was 5-4 in bit one.
super close.
Yeah, super close. Apparently, Crazy's Catwoman is so good. Who knew?
Yeah.
Not me.
He had moved on, it seemed like.
Yeah, moved on to Martian. He said, Catwoman, I played Cyrax. I need someone cheap.
Right.
That's not even like a joke. That's like literally what he said.
Well, no, I can actually imagine. That's not out of line.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he held his own, and props to him for that. I mean, I think at this point he gets to talk about at least Batman.
Yeah.
At this point, he can talk about Batman.
Yeah, he's a great record against Batman.
Yeah. So SCR, we kind of closed the book on a little bit ago, but it was good to talk about. It'll be the last time I'll be relevant, so it's good to talk about. So after that, one of the big things was, of course, Final Round.
Yep.
Now there is a cavalcade of crap that went down to it, so we'll just start with the tournament results. Basically, we had
Sonic Fox
first, 16-bit second, and Newbie third. 16-bit, again, playing out of his mind, getting second with Catwoman.
Yep.
That was crazy. Sonic Fox played even more out of his mind.
Sonic Fox played like he didn't even have a mind.
Oh, my God.
And then we had the rest of the top 8, I believe, was Playing to Win, Smargasm,
Harold,
and
Orochi.
Orochi. Yeah.
I think we're missing one person, aren't we?
We are. Let's see. Sonic Fox, 16-bit Newbie, Playing to Win, Orochi. So I almost said Saltface, but I know he didn't make top 8.
Deg? No, Deg was 9th, I think.
No, Rio.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He beat Deg to get top 8. Then he got Doomsday.
Yep.
So yeah, that was fun to watch. It's a good watch. Sonic Fox was definitely the best player there, I think. Probably ended up deserving that win.
Yeah, man, nobody came close to him, honestly. Yeah. She was nuts.
Yeah, I mean, and then him and Bit definitely, like, they were the strong. I think the only losses were Bit's only losses were to him.
Yeah, I think I remember Bit saying that both of their only losses in the tournament were to each other, as far as even like games.
That's true. Yeah,
which is pretty nuts. Yeah, but yeah, 16-bit played really well. I liked watching the Catwoman.
He beat Arma, which, I mean, we that was another Batman. We didn't know if he could do it, but.
Yep.
Clutched it out. Got to give him props. And then we also had, I think the other really impressive player was, even though he didn't get top 8, Deg.
Yep.
Just putting his Zatanna out there. Zatanna's pretty cool.
Zatanna's really cool. She's nuts. Yeah. She's scary. I don't even know what I would do against her in tournament.
The Rio match was super close.
Mm-hmm.
Rio Martian Manhunter looked pretty good.
My favorite match of the whole tournament actually was Harold versus Rio. Loved that match.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of down 1-2 into another one. Like down 1-2 and then walk up and do it again. It was super cool. Yeah. Pig ended up getting 9th with Zod.
Yep, losing to Smargasm. He actually lost to like 2 people that he like plays a lot, like Orochi, who he rebelloed. And he plays all the time.
Dude, the wound's got to burn deep. Yeah, Rochi looked good too. Not even talking about the biggest craziness of the tournament was Fly beating KDZ and Forever King.
Dude, I don't even understand. I don't think Fly even understands. Like, I'm pretty sure he's sitting there like, whoa, what?
That just happened?
Yeah.
I mean, it was nuts. And then KDZ went after a Winter Brawl win. I don't even think did he make it out of pools? I don't think he did.
I don't know. Who else did he lose to?
Tom Brady.
Oh.
Billy Bones himself put him out of the tournament with Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think he did make it out of pools then. As far as I know.
Pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, obviously, the biggest thing to come out of tournament, besides the cavalcade of upset, there's so many, was, of course, the actual tournament itself being a bit of a blow-up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Also
mean,
PL. Also PL.
oh yeah, we'll get to that too. So we'll actually start with that. So, for those who don't know, Perfect Legend played against Forever King in the tournament and was about to take the first life bar with a flash combo, and all of a sudden there was a pause. And tournament etiquette has always ruled a pause is immediately left up to the player who was paused on as to whether to take the win, not take the win. Forever King chose to take the win, much to the chagrin of Perfect Legend, who to this day will claim that it was outside interference that caused the pause.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately after that, he'd gotten in a combo and he just kind of quit the game.
Yeah.
After the first life bar was taken. There's been a lot of controversy back and forth as to how that match should have played out. Personally, I don't see anything wrong with you pause, you take a win, you don't take a win. It's worked good forever.
Yep.
For every game. I don't see, like, people are saying like the take a life bar thing. That's gay. Come on. There's a lot of things that, like, if you're beating on someone taking a life bar, you're gaining a lot of meter, by the way, for the other person.
Well, I've had to do a lot of arguing about this. I think that that's just absolutely not possible at all. Like, you have to figure, because in this game you have to think when you're hitting on somebody, both players are building meter, the time's running down, screen positions changed.
Yeah.
So many things, traits are recharging, stuff like that. Like, the example was like, say a cyborg has like a 30% life lead or something like that. And say the cyborg has like 130% life, and then somebody else has like 80% life. And the cyborg's in the corner, right? And they pause. Well, and say there's like 20 seconds left on the clock. Well, that you're going to unpause, you're going to have to hit the guy, right? You're going to have to hit the cyborg, and that's going to take like maybe like 5 to 10 seconds off the clock. It's going to build the cyborg a meter. And then you have to figure out positioning. Like, are you going to let him go back to the center of the screen? Are you going to keep him in the corner? Like,
yeah, and also like because most characters are going to do damage in B&Bs with meter, so you're not going to use meter to kill him.
Yeah,
that'll take forever.
There's just too many variables.
Yeah. It's just, and then the other guy like he's supposed to be at a disadvantage, but he's going to have a full bar probably.
Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah.
And then, like, what are you going to do? Make him spend the bar, which is going to take even more time? And then if he accidentally messes it up, then, like, and hits the opponent, then, like, what's going to happen then? Like, there's just, too many variables. So I agree with you.
I honestly don't see the problem with fucking just the person. Why did you hit pause?
Yeah, it's not like it's, like, a common thing. Like,
right. I mean, the converter's malfunction, that's one thing. But hitting pause... Which he hit pause. Like, there's no evidence suggesting there was any other thing that happened. He hit pause. Like, I'm sorry, but...
Yeah, I mean, even if your stuff malfunctions, like, unfortunately, it's just, like, it's your duty to have correct stuff, and, it's going to work, like a good converter and stuff, and...
Yeah, your equipment is your own. I mean, there was equipment drama at final round in other games. I mean, equipment's got to be set. Yeah, in Marvel, the equipment's got to be set right. It's your job as a player to take care of it. And I'm sorry that it pauses, but it's not anyone else's problem.
Yeah, and I personally think that there should be like a rule at all future tournaments that if there is a pause, the player is forced to take the win, because I don't like the whole like argument of like, well, PL said that he wouldn't have taken the win if he was in the same situation. I don't like that whole deal. Like, I don't think that people should be put into that situation where, like, they really should take the win, but then people will look at them badly. I think they should have to take the win, like Evo. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just what's going to happen. I mean, if it happens, they obviously, you might lose someone's respect, which sucks. Because no one likes having the game in their hand and then pausing and then it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that sucks. But, again, not anyone else's problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, they resolved it the best they could. But PL ended up,
Being
super
PL?
salty. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, and he threw a bit of a little tantrum, and that was pretty much it. I mean, and after that, we didn't really hear much about it. I mean, it's kind of blown over at this point, but that was one of the bigger things to happen. And then obviously the whole the tournament as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where do we start with the issues? I mean, from one of the issues was that about 3 weeks prior, Pig had announced that with the approval of Shin Blanca, who is the lead tournament organizer,
Mm-hmm.
that there was going to be a pool separated. I think 2 pools separate for guys that did not pre-register and registered at the door.
Mm-hmm.
In which they could know the death pool, in which they wouldn't play Havoc with the normal brackets that were already released. They would be in their own pool where they'd have to play each other. This was probably done mostly as an attempt because I don't mean to put them on blast too much, but a lot of those East Coast guys, whether it be because they're staff or they just don't do it, do not pre-register. And they're added late into brackets, and it messes a lot of things up. So come the day of the tournament, or I think a week before the tournament, maybe a couple days, it's announced that the death pool is no longer happening.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no answer for a while as to why that didn't happen. Ended up happening because apparently it's a logistics error, and there's no way they could have done it. But it took a while to get that answer, and a lot of people I know were a little upset. And then after that, the other big debacle was that pools had been released. Now, pools, of course, are always subject to change. That's a given. There were 16 pools. Something that, to me, should not be subject to change is the entire pools getting mashed together at the 11th hour, which is what happened. The 16 pools were condensed to 8, cited as not enough to meet the cap. Whether or not how accurate that is, I'm not sure. But that's what ended up happening. And that, again, played havoc with any sort of seeding, any prep time, anything like that. A tournament ran forever. It was on from at least 11 a.m. to at least probably around 12 p.m.
Yeah, it could have been longer. I remember I was watching it all day. And
yeah, it could have been longer.
Got pretty late for me.
Yeah, on the West Coast even. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit of a cluster. And there was a lot of drama over the forums as to who was at fault.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been slinging mud back and forth. I mean, at this point, having seen all of the evidence, to me, it's about a 70-30. 70% you could probably lay with the final round staff. Clearly, a lot of things were not communicated well. I'm not saying they messed up. I'm saying that they just did not communicate what their intentions were at the time. And that's not good for a tournament, I don't think. And then 30%, Combat Network did the best they could with what they had, of course, their internet. But the stream wasn't running very well. The DMS was running the bracket by himself, he has no experience doing it. So obviously there's going to be a couple mistakes here or there. A lot of matches were being run on stream. Guys in staff shirts are playing casuals. I mean, it just a lot of things like that end up happening. But that ultimately probably wasn't the worst part. It was just more of an annoyance on top of everything. So again, I lay the majority of it will probably end up going with the final round staff for not communicating. Because to me, it's not acceptable that on the day of, the pools are just all mashed together. A big problem, a big talking point has been the entitlement of players to be seated, and how you should just be able to play who's in front of you no matter what situation, and that a couple players, and let's not beat around the bush, 16-bit and Pig the Hut are being laid on as guys that just want to try and swing brackets in their favor to try and get better, and that their excuse is through seeding. Now, I have an opinion on this, but I've been talking for a while, so why don't you take the reins and say what you might have to say about that.
All right. Well, we've both seen a lot of stuff on this, and to me, it honestly feels like the situation sort of lies with everybody running stuff. I feel like nobody took initiative, and nobody took the initiative to ask who was taking initiative, if that makes sense. You had
Yeah.
the FR staff, the big wigs, and then you had like the Combat Network people, and then you had the people running the pools, like what was it, Armor and
Fantastic.
Fran, thank you.
A couple others probably.
Yeah. And there's all these sets of people, and nobody thought that they were the one in charge. Everybody thought someone else was in charge, and nobody cared to ask like, who's in charge? Who's the ultimate voice in all of this? And I guess technically that should have been made clear by the FR staff, but I don't know. It's really hard to tell because there's such a lack of communication. So like, it seems like everybody like that was there like left something else to be done by someone else, and nobody really knew who that was supposed to be. And
Right.
I mean, like nobody honestly has even come out and said, "Wow, sorry, I fucked up." Like let's fix this. Let's
Right.
make this better for next year. Like everybody's like, "Well, no, it wasn't me. I was doing my best. It was someone else." And then that other person's like, "Well, no, it wasn't me." Blah 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 blah. And then goes back to another party, and they're like, "Well, I was doing everything I was supposed to do," and nobody's taking responsibility. And that alone, I think, shows part of the problem, and that nobody thought that they should be taking responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, to give credit where credit's due, the only person who'd owned up to any kind of failing was Mike Metroid, who said he fucked the pools
Yeah,
the first time he released them, which is fine. That's good. I mean, there was just even little casualties. Like the guy who won NEC was not properly seated. To me, that say what you want about guys that got top 8 and don't need to be seated. That's of course an argument you could have all day, every day. To me, it's inexcusable that a person that just won a major tournament, possibly one of the biggest of the game, is not seated properly. This has happened twice, by the way. And I don't mean Compton does a great job, but I believe at SCR he was not seated properly either. And
I think to clarify that he actually was, but I think what happened was there wasn't seeds there wasn't like higher or lower seeds. There was just seeded players, and there was 1 to 2 seeded players per pool, and it just so happened that he was the seeded player in a pool that Cowboy was also a seeded player, and those were the only 2 seeded players. They just happened to also have, other people that shouldn't be seeded that were really tough in that pool, but it still stuck to the format of 1 to 2 seeded players per pool. And because that was literally all there was that many people. So it wasn't necessarily that he was seeded, as much as he should have been, but like I just don't think there was different levels of seeding for like, one NEC or or even then like Cowboy. I don't know if Cowboy technically gets to be considered someone else who is considered like a champion, like level. Like he's made a lot of top 8s, so I don't know if you could say like technically by his results that he should have been in a different pool.
Right.
So he was seeded. He was seeded. It wasn't like he just didn't have a seed. It just happened to be unlikely for him. He got a death pool.
Right. And I mean, and then I'll give credit to Compton too. Early on, me and 16-Bit and Theo noticed that me and White Boy were slated to play in top 16, which shouldn't have happened. White Boy was in pool 1, I was in pool 3, and so then it was Chicks, so that I played against Dink, who I was supposed to play against, and White Boy ended up playing against Cowboy. No, he would have had. No, he had to play someone else first, but
Ducky
or Raven, Ducky. I said Raven.
Duckin.
Yeah, he played against Ducky, so everything got messed. He said, "I apologize, I'll fix it right on the spot, no problem." Had a challenge bracket. All he had to do was type in a few numbers. The problem here is again these East Coast tournaments love using the paper brackets, and I mean those things are a mess at the end of the day. Scribbles everywhere. It's hard to read. I just don't understand sometimes.
Yeah, and with the thing with challenge brackets, or at least online brackets, like you don't necessarily have to use challenge. Like Tio has great stuff for like showing the brackets online and stuff too, and there's a bunch of them, but challenge is obviously the most widely used one. But the great thing about them is that everybody can see them. Everybody sees exactly what the brackets are, who beat what, and that it's a lot more transparent, and also it's saved way better for like the future.
Archives, yeah.
Yeah, like if you want to go back to SCR 2011 and say, well, who did Crazy beat in his second game? You could literally just go back and look and see it. It's there.
Yeah.
But if you want to go back to like NEC 2011 and you want to say, hey, who did Detroit beat in his first 3 games? Good fucking luck.
Right.
So I don't know why they don't like change to that. I don't get the paper bracket thing.
Yeah, I don't really get it either. I mean, a lot of these guys are pretty set in their ways, usually for good reason. But I mean, it's just there's a lot of problems, and I don't think this was this was Hollywood players being Hollywood. I think they are the scapegoats for many, and I also got to give props to Legion. Legion's a guy, not really a known player. He's more of just kind of starting out, but he spoke up and made a thread, and it got closed.
Yeah,
and
I think unrightfully so.
I do too, and I think the excuse is that, well, you know, the mudslinging, blah blah blah, nothing's ever going to get done. You got to work out these issues. I mean, I don't think anyone is really happy with how final round went. Even me, I didn't go. I don't think you did either.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
No, yeah, but we didn't go. But this is obviously, it's concerning to know that a big tournament like this is having these kind of huge issues.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know for future reference, because I've been to final round and I enjoyed the 2012 event. It had some problems, and a lot of those problems were actually very similar to the one that just happened. So I'd kind of like to know. To me, it's disconcerting to know that there was such a disconnect between Bob Smack, you know, saying I had no knowledge of death pools, and then not too much later we know that Mike Metroid was told you can't do a death pool by Bob Smack. That kind of thing, even if it's just like I misspoke, even if it's just something like that, I think to me is disconcerting and deserves to be talked about, not thrown aside and locked like it. Oh well, this is just mudslinging, because it's not mudslinging. It's troubleshooting, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you know, obviously nobody likes to see TOs get blown up, but
Right.
I mean, things need to be addressed. And like, I mean, honestly, I think if you're a good TO, you're gonna question the people who are there, and you're gonna ask them, what can we do better? Like, literally, actually, 2 years ago at SCR, I went up to Pig and Bit because they were the biggest out of towners.
Right.
And I said, listen, guys, are there any problems? You know, like, is there any drama? Because I remember, like, there was some drama because, I don't know, like, I don't know. There was, you know, it was right after the whole, like, rigging thing with Bit. And, like, then somebody said that, like, oh, I think it was, like, James MK insinuated that, like, we were rigging it here, too, or something. And, like, I wanted to clear, you know, all the drama. And so I went up to the out-of-town players. I said, guys, is there any problem? Literally anything. You know, talk to us. And they said, as far as I know, they said nothing. Or nothing big. Like, and, you know, you got to go up and you got to ask them, is there anything wrong? You know, let's fix it. You know, don't say, well, you don't like this? Well, you know, you're wrong. Just say, okay.
Let's go rig another bracket.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here with that shit. This tough guy bullshit. Come on. It's time to man up and say, you know what? We had some problems. We tried to fix what we could. No one is blowing anybody up for fixing the problems that were at hand. Everyone now is like, why was there such a disconnect between staff, streamers, and players? That's what everyone's asking. We can't get those answers. And it's if you do, it's like, God, you guys are shitting on Combat Network again. You don't know what these guys have done. It's not. I don't think it's about Combat Network anymore. I think this is more about final round staff than anything.
It's hard, but I mean, somebody's got to. I mean, whoever it is, it's hard to figure out who it is, but I mean, you could be right easily, and whoever it is should take responsibility. You know?
Right. Yes. And then the other thing is, like, if your personal opinion is that pools shouldn't be released, as 16-bit reiterated on K2P, that's fine. But the tournament was promoted as pools are being released. Here is this pool, that pool, that pool. Here's the death pool rules. and to take that all away. And I don't like the term using we're customers. I hate that, but at the same time, there is a bit of truth to that, where you shouldn't be nickel and dime at the last second.
Mm-hmm.
And was it even ever made clear that if you didn't reach the bracket length, they would match the pools together?
No, I mean, maybe, but not in a way that was clear, I think, to
Right.
enough, at least.
So that's the kind of thing we're talking about here, is where that kind of thing just isn't made clear. It's causing a lot of hurt feelings. And then we have to deal with this, well, you guys, you just don't know, blah, blah, blah. It's a thankless job. It is a thankless job. You're right. And there's some things where it gets done and there's nothing you can do about it. Valle was saying on Top 8 on Sunday, where he was like, Chris G got inserted into the pools. He barely showed up to his pool. We tried to put him in losers. There was drama. He ended up getting his way in, and I can't do anything about it, and it sucks. He owned up to saying, Chris G got in, playing late, and it sucks, but there's nothing I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it happened, and now I have to take responsibility for it as a TO. That, to me, is what should happen.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have Vandy, the KIT guy, is going to be running the brackets in final round 2014, which is a great thing to hear.
Yeah, I've heard he's a great TO. I really want to go to KIT really bad.
Right. And there's, a lot of things have been accounted for and answered for. There's a few things that haven't been, and it just looks bad on final round as a whole more because of the disconnect. It's just... And this is one of those tournaments that's been running a really long time. And it kind of sucks to see that there's such a problem still. And this is even about the stream. Like, to me, the stream, yeah, it sucks that it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a time when there weren't streams before. So it's okay for now, I think. But the tournament being run that bad no. And I don't think the excuse should be, well, we got it done. It's a success. Revelations got done. Devastation got done. But there were, there's things that should have been addressed. And in Devastation's case I would agree, and then Revelations wasn't, but still. Just because it's finished doesn't mean that tournament was good.
Uh-huh.
And I think a lot of people are attesting to that. So, yeah, I don't know. Just a cluster.
Yeah. I hope somebody steps up and takes responsibility, because as a TO, you're obviously not doing it for yourself. You're obviously doing it for the players. So I don't think anything good can come from when players have complaints, not trying to accommodate them, like, in some way, just not listening to them. Like,
right.
It is about the players. That's just, in general, what it's about. Like, they may not be customers, but, the whole reason that you're TOing is for players, so... I don't know.
Right.
Hopefully somebody takes responsibility.
I agree. Because for all intents and purposes, otherwise it was a pretty damn good tournament as far as entertainment. So, yeah, I don't know. But at least, we got a good tournament out of it.
Yeah, shoutouts to Smargasm, who made top 8. Finally,
Smargasm got top 8.
Skype.
Yeah.
Or Hype Skype's like third top 8 or something like that. I don't even know.
Despite missing a low laser whiff and didn't whiff punish. It hurt my eyes to watch, but he clutched it out anyways. It's props to him. Newbie, hilariously Doomsday rolling through everybody.
Yeah, I wish somebody should count how many Earth Shakers like a Doomsday gets to. Like how many throughout the whole tournament. It's got to be
many.
Astronomical.
Yeah. It's so much. God, Doomsday's good. I think the argument's over.
It's I don't know, man. It's interesting. Like when I play Doomsday, I suck with Doomsday. I cannot do anything with him because he was actually the person I wanted to play most coming into the game.
Right.
I love Doomsday as a character.
He obviously
and I tried
suits
playing him. And Superman, the anti-Superman.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I just suck with him. When I first played him, I was like, this character sucks, and I've never really done well with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I can't. I'm not even like good enough with him to say anything about him.
I mean, to me, it's more of like he got results early on,
Hmm.
and he's still getting results to this day. Now, you could argue everyone is bad and can't fight Doomsday, or we could just be like, he's probably pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Doomsday. I mean, if you look at strictly results, Doomsday's made top 8 in almost every major. I think, right?
Right.
Was there a Doomsday
some
top
form
8
of-
at NEC? Was it? I think Newbie did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So NEC, SCR, final round, Winter Brawl. Yeah, Winter Brawl. Yeah. Didn't there was? I thought I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there was one because Revolver got taped. Did Revolver get top 8 at Winter Brawl? He did.
I don't think so.
Dude, I think he did.
I don't remember Winter Brawl.
I don't know. Whatever. Me neither.
Anyway.
Honestly, Kumite. Last one I'll ask.
Kumite was no. There was Bane. There was no Doomsday. But Doomsday even placed as far back as like ECT, Toryukin, made Death quit the game. I mean, come on.
Oh, Death. Superman player can't
Yeah.
deal with Doomsday.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think he's now at this point, he's placing too much in the game to where it's like, okay, well, everybody can't suck.
I suppose it's true. He's at the very least a consistent character.
Right. I mean, yeah, he might not have all the tools he needs in every matchup, but 2 out of 3 games, pretty scary.
Yeah.
A lot of blocking you got to do.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's the biggest thing about Doomsday is you have to be on point. Like, you have to have your block timing down. And if you, like... It's like trying to, like, stay on the surface of, like, a body of water. Like, if you fall below, he can just destroy you. He will drown you in Earthshakers and corner setups and meter burn Venoms. But, like, if you can stay above and get that air, then I feel like you can edge out Doomsday. But, you know, you have to be on point to stay afloat in that matchup.
Right. Yeah, it's mentally taxing, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. And what's next on the horizon is probably going to be what UFG Civil War, I guess, which is in April.
No. I'm pretty sure UFGT's in May. Wait.
Well,
oh my God! You just said April.
God.
Dude, for some reason I was thinking you're. Oh my God.
That's a blow up.
I should just edit this out. I should just.
Crap, maybe.
Oh, dude, I was totally not thinking because I was thinking about
March, May, April.
Yeah, March, May, April. Yeah, that's how it goes, right? No, I was thinking about Northwest Majors because I was going to talk about Northwest Majors, and then I heard you say something, and I was like, I'll do something. No, I'm not going to edit this out. I'm going to accept my lack of month knowledge. I'll put it this way: if Calendar Man was in Injustice, he would beat me every time. He would be my tournament master. Yeah,
Julian Day, the Calendar Man.
Damn, you know his name and everything.
Yeah.
Would you main him if he was in?
No. I would still main Destro.
Fair enough.
I like Slade.
Anyway, back to before I made an embarrassing moment. Yeah. Civil War? Is it the next?
Yeah. The Civil War is, I believe, in April. Because I remember it because last year was when the game came out, which was April. So
yeah.
Logic dictates it should be around this time. It will be 3 out of 5, which is interesting. It's something a lot of people have clamored for.
Was that the one that the whole thing was 3 out of 5, or top 32 was 3 out of 5? I don't remember which one was which.
No, I believe this whole thing's gonna be 3 out of 5.
Okay, that's cool.
There's been a lot of talk about that lately.
Mm-hmm.
about whether or not. I mean, to me, with 3 out of 5, I think if people expect it to now just like, well, the better players now will, or the supposedly better players will win every time. That's a bill of goods because they did it in Marvel, where Marvel went 3 out of 5. And there's a consistent top guys who have always been consistent, but then Ray, who's one of probably a top 10 Marvel player, doesn't get out of pools sometimes. The game is just nuts. It's gonna happen. Sometimes you might lose to something crazy, even in 3 out of 5. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I like 3 out of 5. Obviously, I like 3 out of 5 because I'm a person who plays a lot of characters, and I feel like that benefits me more. Even though there are the same amount of opportunities to pick and counterpick, you always get to counterpick back and forth.
Right.
I get time to figure out which of my characters my opponent can't handle. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So I like it for me, obviously, but we'll see how it turns out as far as time goes.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Because some people argue that this game is really fast. I would argue if you play Black Adam, it's not going to look awful fast.
Well, sometimes the game can go super fast, and sometimes the game can go super slow. It's all dependent on.
It reminds me a lot of, because I play Cross Tekken a lot. It reminds me a lot of that. Sometimes the round will end in 15 seconds, and then sometimes it's 3 seconds left, and because the stages are so big, and characters jump back and do all this other stuff, it could go either way. So I don't know. It could run well. Civil War is usually a more low key tournament. Not huge. Good number of entrants, but not huge. So it should probably run okay. I'm interested to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll be a good time to test it at the very least.
Right.
Yeah.
And then maybe for Evo, because I like the format of top 32 goes to 3 out of 5 or something like that. If it's a huge tournament, because obviously logistics get in the way.
Yeah, have a 600-person tournament of 3 out of 5. It'll take forever.
Right. As long as something doesn't happen, I don't know if you remember. When Marvel first went 3 out of 5, there was some debacle with some of the early morning pools, the 8 a.m. pools, where they were told to go 2 out of 3, and then they switched to 3 out of 5 the rest of the day because they figured out, we can actually do it. We have enough time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a huge blow up. So hopefully nothing like that happens. I don't think it will. But yeah, so I don't know if UFGT is going to be 3 out of 5 for top 8. It might. Because I know UFGT typically likes to do the 3 out of 5 for games if they can. But yeah, we'll see if 3 out of 5 proves to be something.
There's been some talk actually too of us trying to do it at Wednesday Night Fights, so I'll keep everybody updated with that because I have no idea what's going on.
All right, and I know Super Arcade is in the middle of a bit of a transition.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, and I should probably just plug it right now. They have a Kickstarter campaign going. Mike Watson has proposed huge. This is game changing. The stuff he's doing, it's huge. There's a lot of architectural changes. There's a complete change to how you pay to get into tournaments. It's from top to bottom a complete redo, and they got a Kickstarter going. They're asking for $44,000. They're already at $39,000 with about a month left.
Yeah,
so it's looking like this might happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And they are giving out, little goodies if you do donate. So go to the Kickstarter page, check it out, check out their new plan, donate if you can. You might get some little nice little perks. Super Arcade's a great place. SoCal scene probably would hate to lose it, I think.
Oh, yeah, you have no idea.
Yeah.
And cool little story about that. We decided to. I'm gonna feel myself here because it was my idea, but I started hitting everybody up on Twitter. Because they started on a Monday, and then on Tuesday I was like, "Hey, everybody who goes to Wednesday Night Fights for Injustice, why don't we donate the pot to the Kickstarter? Because if you donate at least $50, there's going to be a big plaque, right? And it's going to be hung up in the arcade with the names of everybody who's donated 50 or more." And I said, "Well, why don't we just donate the pot, and then as the name we'll put SoCal Injustice Community." Which I think is super tight. And everybody said yeah. And it actually ended up being top 3 the next day was Theo, Steve, and Chris G. And that was Chris G's first top 3, so I don't think he really wanted to. But Theo and Steve, they donated the money. And yes, then I've already made the donation, so we're going to get our name up there on that plaque. It's pretty cool. Pretty proud of our community. So thank you, Theo and Steve.
That's a big. It's big, and I think it's good to show community unity like that.
Yeah. I mean, we all know Watson well, so
right. And he's a guy that's been around for a very, 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 very long time, and he has not exchanged his seat at the arcade table for a wheelchair yet. So good to see him sticking around. I know I've been to Wednesday night fights a lot. I really like it there, and I hope it stays around because I really like it. I think it's just a good place to have. There's not that many arcades left.
Yep.
And yeah, it can be really hard to find, a new place.
Yeah, it's like the hub. It's the home, of our community in SoCal. So gotta keep it alive. So go donate.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. What else has been big lately in the news?
Can I say something? Okay, let me make a pseudo blow up.
This is your podcast.
Yeah, it sort of is. It sort of is our podcast.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to talk about the thread that PL made.
Ooh.
Where PL made a thread insinuating that streamers get paid thousands of dollars per tournament, and that because of that, we shouldn't have community streamers stream. We should only have big streamers stream because it gives the players more exposure or something. So that thread made me really mad, because to insinuate that streamers get paid a lot for doing what they do at even at majors is ridiculous. I mean, he thought that they could make up to $6,000 for a major. I'm not even that's ridiculous. There's no way in hell. I talked to Brian Compton, and he said, "Wow, do you know how much I made for SCR?" And I said, "No, how much? $7?" And he said, $0. And not only that, he didn't just not make money. He had to spend money on gas. He had to call off of work that weekend to do the whole thing. He had to buy more supplies for the setups and stuff. He had to put in tons of work, and he didn't make $1. And PL's going out there saying, "Well, these streamers make thousands of dollars," which is totally wrong. And then saying that we shouldn't have community streams like EGP, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I can't even tell you how mad that thread made me.
What would the anime players do? They're in a corner with a box playing Blaze Blue Chrono Phantasma. You're going to tell them they can't stream that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's ridiculous. It's one of the stupidest threads I've ever seen in my entire life. And it just makes me mad because, there's so many great streamers out there that do a lot for, that just do a lot for free, just for the love of doing it. I mean, my stream obviously sucks, but I stream every Wednesday night fights that I can, and other tournaments, and then Compton obviously streams everything known to man, and we even have people like Combat Network and AK guys, whatever the name they're going under now, and to insinuate that we shouldn't have stuff like that, we should only go with big streamers is ridiculous to me. Just ridiculous.
It's ignoring what the foundation was built upon, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this is just another example of these. We have quote-unquote community leaders that really aren't. I think they ignore what's actually best. And that is a big point you just made. It's not very minded of the community at large to just say, fuck local streams, only pros from now on. Because it's not plausible, it's not logical, it's nothing. It's just bunk.
It is, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Like, I don't think he understands that there's like 20 games at a tournament. How are you gonna have Spooky stream every single one? It's not possible.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Yeah, or Level Up does what they can. Level Up might be one of the most professional streams there is right now, but they can't. I mean, there's a lot of equipment. They can't do it for everything.
Yeah.
And what are the and even they don't stream. Do we really only want the top 3 of? Look at BlazBlue. If BlazBlue were to work on this new stream, they'd get the top 3 streamed.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else would have to be cam recorded. That sucks.
I mean, even look at our game. It would be the same way. I mean, I don't know. It's unrealistic. It's stupid. I think PL is an idiot for many things, but this is one of the stupidest things I think he said. So, I don't know. I hate it. Disrespectful. Very disrespectful. That was my blow up. I'd also like to give a shout out to PL for saying that I wouldn't ever make top 8, like right before I top 8'd. Like, that couldn't have been cooler for me.
Well,
So
I heard
thanks,
you had. I heard you were swimming in the kiddie pool.
Yeah. I should say something public about that too. Like, I do understand that I had one of the easiest pools. I think arguably it could have been the second easiest pool, but without a doubt it was within the bottom 2 easiest pools. So, like, sure, yeah, okay, I had it one of the easiest pools. I admit it. Like, there's potentially pools that I wouldn't have made it out of, but hey, I mean, I got 4th, Like, it's not like I just made it out of pools and then, like, I'd lost. Like, 4th, like, I gotta do something, right, So, yeah, I mean, I definitely admit that, like, it was an easy pool that I had, and I think I got lucky, too, partially in the pool. Like, I was scared of MIT, but luckily MIT got upset. And then I was scared of Mashed Potato Tower, but then Mashed Potato Tower got upset because he didn't have, like, the presence of mind to beat the Superman player. And then, like, the Superman player was somebody I was super used to fighting. So, it just happens. But regardless, hey, I got 4th, so whatever. PL can hold that.
Exactly, that's what I was waiting for. That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
Well, I got 4th, hold that.
Yeah.
Any debate as to whether or not SCR is a major is bunk, by the way. I mean, it's indisputable, right?
Yeah, except for that argument that everybody says. It says regional in the name. I love that. It's a joke argument.
Well,
of course.
yeah, well, right.
It's a joke.
It's good. It's logical.
It's funny. It's funny.
Right. Yeah. I mean, people are like, well, it was Wednesday Night Fights 2.0. When isn't a Big E tournament to break 2.0? Let's be serious here. Come on now. Gotta air with that shit.
All right. Well, here's something interesting related to that, if I can bring it up.
All right.
Real quick.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So there were some interesting things that made final round seem stronger than SCR, but also that had the opposite effect. And I know there were some people comparing the 2 tournaments, and I just wanted to, like, point out some strange discrepancies. So, like, the biggest one, of course, 16-bit didn't make it out of pools at SCR and got second at final round. That's obviously in SCR's favor, right?
Right.
But then there's also, like, White Boy made, like, top 32 at final round, but he got top 8 at SCR, so that would make final round sound harder. And there's a whole bunch of these. Like, King didn't make it far, but at final round, well, he did. He got, like, 9th or something, but he got 3rd at SCR. And then there was another one. There was another really good one. What was it? Who was at both those tournaments?
Let's see. You said Forever King already, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Forever King.
There was somebody else who didn't make it out of pools at SCR, I think, but then got pretty far. Oh, like Trey, I think. Trey made it out of pools.
Yeah, he beat Rico.
Yeah. But he didn't make it out of pools at SCR. And then there were some other ones. And actually, I can't remember them, of course, now that I want to talk about it. But so it goes back and forth. So I just wanted to point that out, too, because there was some people comparing the 2 and trying to figure out which one was harder. And I don't know. They're both tough.
Either way, I would argue they're both huge points for the game.
Yeah,
Majors.
exactly. That's exactly what I think. So no, I wouldn't compare them, really. They're both tough.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Uh, I mean, I'm ready to handle anyone who ever says I had an easy pool. You fight Digit and Tyrant. You come back and you tell me how easy that was. You fight Slayer. You tell me how easy that was, and I'll get back to you. Until then, you can fucking hold that. So yeah, that's a good thing to say. I think that's a good attitude to have. Hold that. Got top 8. So
Yeah.
Well, there's another thread I wanted to talk about. I can't. The new Leaf. What do you think about the new Leaf?
What new Leaf is my question? Like that shit was short lived. I think it's dead already.
It might be dead already.
I think it's dead already. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just dead. It was an interesting idea, but I think it's dumb. I mean, talking about like who's the best and stuff, it's just normal talk, you know?
It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, name one competitive thing where nobody's like, oh, this person's the best at blank. Like, it doesn't happen. Like everything,
Yeah.
like baseball, sports, freaking competitive card games. I don't care what it is, like competitive fucking dancing. Everybody wants to know who's the best. It's always a question in people's minds. So,
Right.
I mean, just control yourself. Don't say people suck. That's mean. But that's just part of competition. Is comparing people. Like that is competition at its base, right? Like comparing who's better. So, whatever. What do you think?
I'd argue it makes it more fun. Like Nubcakes constantly, you guys, everyone was like, well, he's getting hyped up, blah blah blah. He has a top 8 placing. I mean, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun to talk about, and it was fun to see it happen. It's better. I think I just think it's more fun that way. Like it's not really meant to be personal. Like that's. I mean, of course. I mean, I know, of course, this was Tom trying to be the smartest guy in the room again, but it doesn't need to happen. Like I don't know why everyone gets all worked up over it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of dead. It was a dead idea. I mean, that kind of just gets rid of the point of everything, right?
Right.
I mean,
what's the point? Yeah, well, it's not fun. I don't know. Because, I mean, is anyone really getting that upset whether or not we're trying to compare between Flash and Zyfox, or Harold and Zyfox, who's the best Flash? Does anyone truly get upset?
I mean, I think that it's not. I doubt either of them would really be upset. I mean, just the fact that they're within the talking of best of a character ever. Right. It's like, just be happy. Just be happier in the talk. Like, but I mean, that's just natural. Like, you're never going to get good without people questioning how good you are exactly. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think this. Yeah, this is. It seems like a lot of people are trying to reinvent the wheel when it doesn't need to be. I mean, this has been happening forever.
Mm-hmm.
In everything, like it's not just. Like a lot of people are like, "Man, why is this community so obsessed with tiers?" Really, I've not noticed it any worse than any other ones.
Yeah. I mean,
everyone talks about tiers because it's funny, hilarious. It's fun to do. You know how fun it is now that I have newfound powers to be a super matchup cop? You know how awesome that is?
Must feel nice. Nobody cares about my opinions on matchups because I use so many characters. Right,
that's the revolving door. As a specialist, I get to go in and someone will be like, man, Deathstroke seems like he loses, 7-3 to Grundy or something like that. I'd be like, well, hold that. I almost beat Tyrant in a tournament. We've gone really, really close sets even, so probably even matchup. You can hold that. It's amazing. But yeah, it's fun. Like I'm joking when I say, like, I don't obviously mean like I can just lord over the forums. My opinion only matters, but it's funny to think of it that way.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Noob's dead. It's really hard to even say anything about it because it's just kind of dumb and over.
Yeah. The leaves crumbled.
Yep. I was gonna make a leaf joke, but you got me. You beat me to it.
Yeah, I do that. What else? There's another thing. I'm trying to think of some other thread that I want to talk about. The best way to find a topic I've been is go into the nether realm and see what's there.
That's genius.
Yeah. Ooh, do you know anything? I've actually wondered about this because I keep hearing about it, but I actually don't know. The Pigs Online tournament.
Oh yeah, I know everything about that actually.
All right, so I want to hear.
Yeah. Why didn't I think we were going to talk about that? So first of all, before anything, I'd just like to say that Jupiter played great. I loved watching Jupiter that tournament. But aside from that, basically, I don't know. Pig was pissed off to begin with. Like before I even got there, like 30 minutes into the tournament, he was pissed, and I don't know what about. But apparently there were some problems, and then the tournament went on, and then it ended up being Playing to Win versus Foxy, right? And I mean, it seemed like everything was going relatively well before that. And so Playing to Win and Foxy, they start the game, and the first of all, the rule is you double random, I believe.
Stages,
like,
right?
Every time, yeah.
Yeah, that's the rule.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if you stay on that stage for the entire set. I think that's what it is, but regardless, so they start the match, and Playing to Win says, "Let me do an online lag check." So he wants the first match to just not count. Like he just wants to go in and just check how laggy it is, which is weird because nobody else did that in the tournament. And so he goes in and Foxy wasn't. I don't know. It was a weird situation. Everybody's like, "What's going on? This is weird." And they got Wayne Manor or something like that. Yeah, it was Wayne Manor Day. And then it ended, and then there was another weird button check, and they keep playing these matches where they're not actually playing, and basically when they start playing real matches, Playing to Win ended up choosing what's it called, Ferris, because I think he thought that I don't know, there was a miscommunication as to which stage they were supposed to be picking, and so he picked Ferris, and Foxy kept picking the stage they originally randomed on the first time.
Right.
And when it got to the end, he kept doing that, and people kept saying what's going on, this is wrong, DQ him, etc. And so eventually Pig went back and he looked at the all the archives. It was really confusing because they played so many matches that didn't count to start off with. So he ended up
online button check.
Yeah, the weird nonsensical online button check. And so basically Pig went back and he said either replay the match. Well, actually the first time it ended up 3-2 Playing to Win. And he basically said, replay the match, or just drop out and I'll refund you. It's one of those two. And so Playing to Win got super duper pissed off, and he replayed the match, and he lost 3-0.
Oh.
So instead of winning 3-2, he lost 3-0. And he was super pissed. He was so pissed. He was going off on Pig. He obviously made a huge thread. Pig posted a bunch of texts of between them two, and there were some very mean words said, and this whole time PL starts popping off on Playing to Win because they have a grudge now for some reason.
Right.
And there was just a whole bunch of anger, and so apparently Playing to Win got his money back, but he still was really unhappy with how it all went down. And Pig's argument is you shouldn't have run that button check to begin with. You didn't do the stage rules right. Stop being a baby, basically.
Oh my god! Why is it that every time poor Pig tries to run an online tournament, it gets blown up? Something always happens. Remember the whole Marvaz thing?
Yeah, Marvaz Rio thing.
Yeah, that happened. Just he can't catch a break. But yeah, I mean, I really hate when guys Playing to Win and Perfect Legend keep talking about we need to be professional. We need to move towards these guys have the people skills of hornets. And they're talking about becoming professional. Come on, man.
No, that's not true, man. There are people that like hornets.
I'm sure there are.
I'm just kidding.
But
Continue.
I can't, I just don't understand why is it always the guys that, we need to be professional. Are guys that know, when Junior is on Twitter being yo, we need to be more professional. Yo, real rap? We need to,
No, nobody takes you seriously. Why would they? You just said real rap. No, real rap? We need Dr. Pepper and Hot Pocket. No, we don't. It's just to me. Why is it always the guys who seem to be the most unprofessional, always coming to be like, "Well, we need to be professional," blah blah blah. Absolutely not. Absolutely. Now, I'm not against it, mind you. I'm not against moving towards a more organized thing. It's just I don't like when the supposed leaders that are propped up are these idiots.
Yeah, they're just hypocrites, basically.
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything good. It's just like a guy like Pig. Now that's a leader. For all his kind of faults or how crazy he might get about something, bleeds MK. And, well, NetherRealm, I should say. He bleeds NetherRealm. Guy would absolutely do anything to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
But then he tries to do stuff like this, and then this happens. I would be super bitter if I was Pig. I don't blame him if he is.
Yeah, Pig's really angry. He almost ended the whole tournament at one point. He almost just said, forget it, and just refunded everybody.
How could you blame him? What nonsense.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was some ridiculous stuff. But, I mean, to be fair, there were players that did everything right. Like Jupiter, for instance. I loved Jupiter's play, yo. He did great. He didn't lose to anybody.
Yeah, it's so silly. And I'm glad again, this is a good thing normally for the community, but get out of here, man. Gosh. Well, that was interesting to hear. Now, this thread apparently must have got deleted.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch. I mean, because there was a whole bunch of like personal back and forth stuff between Pig and Mr. To Win.
Right.
So,
Mr. To Win.
Mr. To Win, yes. And so I don't know. I don't know why I didn't even see it get deleted, but clearly somebody didn't like that it existed.
Right. Yeah, I mean, well, again, dragging all that personal stuff into it, absolutely no.
Yeah.
No need. Ah, jeez, that's a cluster. It's pretty bad. I actually didn't know that had happened. That must have happened, what, like last Saturday or something?
Saturday, just like 2 days ago.
Get called into work and you miss everything. Or go to Tucson for a day and you miss everything.
Yeah, I was watching the whole thing, just like chilling, waiting for the tournament on Sunday, and I was like, wow, this is some crazy stuff going on. And like Playing to Win had to get banned from the chat because he was arguing in it too much.
Wow. Jesus. Well. Ooh, here's another one I just thought about. Remember the Nightwing drama?
Oh, yeah.
You there for that?
We're talking about the thing about like basically the argument after what's his face?
Lord of the Fly.
Lord of the Fly. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I've known that guy for years, and I still don't know his name. After he top baited, that whole drama, or not top baited, ninth or whatever.
Yeah, but did very well.
Yeah. It was around for some of that.
It was dumb.
I don't know, man. It was weird. Weird.
I mean, on one hand, I'm sure Fly would probably admit there's, the stars kind of aligned probably.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everything worked out in his favor, no doubt. But at the same time, give the man his props, and not backhanded ones either. Like you can't be saying, even though they didn't know the matchup, good shit to Fly. Even if it is true that you gotta hold that. Like, come on, man. Like to me, that to me was the biggest part. I didn't like the backhandedness of some of that shit.
Well, I think more of what it was like a defensive thing to it wasn't like he wasn't saying good job Fly. It was like when or anybody was saying good job Fly. Basically what happened was when Fly did what he did, everybody started saying, well, he's clearly the best Nightwing now. And I mean, I think if I was a Nightwing player, I would find that hard to swallow too.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can understand that. Obviously, your competitive pride is going to get the best of you.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, obviously Fly did well. You know, obviously Fly pulled off some nutso upsets, but I think it was more of like a thing of Steve is. I mean, I'm gonna try to be unbiased when I say he's probably the best Nightwing as far as play goes. I think, from what I've seen at least, so I can't really tell because I haven't actually played Fly, but that's what it's looking like. But he technically didn't go all Nightwing in a CR. But so then, you have somebody who does go all Nightwing and gets ninth, and people are saying immediately that he's the best. It's just hard to swallow, probably. I mean, it's just one event, and he pulled off some very strange upsets. And so I think that's basically what it was about. It wasn't about anybody saying that Fly didn't do well. It was more of just don't say he's best yet.
Right, the new leaf, turn it over.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, same idea, different reason. And then it just escalated. You know how things get.
Right. Everyone's got their defense squad.
Mm-hmm. So that's how it all turned out. I would, of course, love to see Steve and Fly play in a mirror. For some reason, Nightwing players love the mirror. It's weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. It's just like their favorite match. They love playing with each other's dicks.
Why wasn't I ready for that? If I had a dumb button, I'd have been mashing that as soon as you set that up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You should have seen it coming. But actually, I can't even make that joke, though, because Fly plays Damien. So I can't make dick jokes. It's really depressing. I feel like he should be considered not even part of the Nightwing community because of the fact that I can't make dick jokes. And that's a crime.
By the way, I just want to kind of put a quote in that forever. I can't make dick jokes. I can't make dick jokes. It's really sad.
Yeah, it's kind of a crime.
Out of context, that is a hilarious quote. Hilarious.
We've got this thing going on a Hype Skype where we quote each other out of context all the time. It's like a contest almost to see who can make the other person look like more of an idiot. That's pretty great.
Well, I mean, out of context, it's the best time to quote somebody.
Yeah, we've got
context. Just so need this.
I think one of the best quotes is well, maybe I like doggy dicks.
Whoa!
But you see, you would never know the situation that it came from, where it totally made sense.
That's true. I wouldn't. Ooh, you know what I didn't talk about? The supposed broken tech. The push block thing.
Oh, yeah. Dead and gone already. Not really.
Dead and gone. Yeah, it was dead and buried. I mean, we aren't kidding. That was broke.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kidding. It was super broke.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about what it would have been like if that stayed.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in Cross Tech and Vanilla when they had you could tag cancel your alpha counters in that game.
Uh-huh.
They've changed it now to where it's just there's no juggle potential or anything if you tag cancel it. In the other game, you could juggle off of alpha counters.
Wow.
It was bro. I mean, you would have a character like Rolento. I know Infiltration played it smart. Rolento's alpha counter is a high launcher.
Mm-hmm.
Dude would build meter by running away, and then as soon as it comes an alpha counter combo.
It's terrible.
And that helped perpetrate, the game getting timeouts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You should never be able to combo off a defensive mechanic like a push block or a alpha counter. It's just I don't think that's the purpose they intended it for. I just don't think. And it sucks that Joker and Lex and whoever had to, bear the brunt of it too.
Yeah.
But it's just dumb. It's just inherent. Obviously Paulo or whoever looked at that and was just well, I don't mean push block to do that, and fixed it. I don't think it's really that big a deal. I don't think it was a direct nerf. I don't think anyone was out for Sinestro or out for Joker.
Joker OP.
It's just yeah. He was never allowed to live. But it's just, I don't think anyone was looking at that going guys, we got to nerf Sinestro because of what? Remember, the excuse that they're oh my god, everyone was crying and it got nerfed. How badly do you think people overrate man, people cried and it got nerfed.
Yeah, really bad. I mean,
It happened one time.
Scorpion.
One time. Score absolutely. Everything else, we all know Deathstroke's changes were implemented months before the game came out.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely had no bearing what anybody said at all.
Yep.
There's you can name a laundry. People say Black Adam. Black Adam was broke.
Oh.
Superman was broke.
Oh yeah. I don't
Get
even think I
outta
need to say anything about that.
Yeah. This whole thing. Oh, they cried and they got it nerfed. Everyone's out to get me. God, it's so dumb. No one's out to get anybody.
And another thing I'd like to point out is, for some reason, like, there's been the insinuation, especially by Cowboy, that like the character is worse now that it got nerfed. That's still an amazing tool, and you can still push block into trait shot, into shackles, into like a free interactable. Like, there's still plenty of stuff you can do. And
it costs resources. I don't want to hear about your resources.
like, it's still something that Sinestro has gained. He still gained something from pre-SCR.
Right.
So it's still ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, like, a lot of this is going to boil down to a problem I think that happens a lot that we don't really talk about that much, is where, well, insert this, and that is good, and then you lose one time, or you struggle. Like, it's not even like you lose. It's like you have to put up a bigger fight than you normally do. Oh, this is bad. It's a problem that happens a lot, and obviously, I think people should be a little more careful with what they say. Like the whole thing with like Doomsday. Like, I know Wound for a fact thought Sinestro beat Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, well, it might be, whatever. We know Deathstroke used to apparently not be a threat, and then he played Slips and myself. Now, Deathstroke, he does pretty good against Sinestro. I mean, I'm sorry that you have to put up a fight. Theo's got the great quote, Harley can be really annoying if you got an 80% life lead. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you have to burn a little bit more. Like, sorry you can't just use Fear Blast and back 1-2 the whole match.
Yeah, we're back to this Cowboy thing, but man, yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, again, you have a while after you're salty that you can say your character sucks, but
right.
But to literally like lose a matchup to somebody who got top 8 and then immediately to two people who got top 8 and then immediately say my character's unviable is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And then nobody knows how to play the game. And blah, 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 blah.
Uh-huh. I'm not insinuating anything, but it's interesting. I did notice the 2 majors that I've been to, I've outplaced Cowboy. Isn't that interesting?
So, yeah, SCR and EVO?
Yeah.
A little bit interesting.
It is interesting.
I like it.
I didn't think that would be like a possibility, but it's something. I'm not insinuating anything, but it's a thought.
I wish I'd been more than 2 majors so I could say I outplaced somebody, but I didn't happen. That to me, that we keep circling back to it because it is such a crazy. Like, that's obviously one of the problems. It's like top players, really, really taking it to heart, these losses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now the character's bad. We just don't know. I mean, when is it going to end?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Obviously never will. It's not like Black Adam. How much longer do we have to hear that he's not that good? Because Rico constantly gets bodied at these tournaments.
I'm guilty. I kind of downplay Black Adam, but yeah, I don't know, man. Downplaying is always a thing, I guess. Yeah, it's weird when people that win a lot downplay their character.
Yeah. When is everyone still bad? Like, now it's been a year. People have to be good at this point.
Yeah.
I just don't know about this.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. It has been a year. People should be good. I mean, there's still some lucky brackets, but
Well, they are. I mean, obviously you can have your opinions, but I think I would argue a lot of these tournaments you go to that are 100-man plus, a lot of those guys are good.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you can't like have a character of that caliber, or I mean, sorry, you can't have a tournament of that caliber and then a character that does well at those like consistently and really say like they suck. You know, like Sinestro, for instance.
Right. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know whether or not he's your boy, but Brad, man, that Doomsday downplaying is fierce.
Yeah, Brad's my boy. Brad's my boy. I mean, yeah, if we're going off of results, it's hard to argue. I mean, Doomsday places a lot. He does place a lot. But again, like I said, I feel like I don't understand the character at all. Like, I know how to fight him, but I don't understand how to make him work, so I'll leave that one to you.
I don't know how he works. I know he does down one Earthshaker.
Good point.
True.
Earthshaker.
There was a period of time when I did play Doomsday only for about 2 months. That was interesting. He shoulders a lot. Remember that? Yeah. He does shoulder a lot.
His anti-air throw is super duper fun. Super fun.
Yeah, the torture rack.
Yeah. Second coolest only to Bane's.
Yeah, Bane has a few where they're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I love them. And it's like a treat every time. It's like, which one am I gonna get this time?
Yeah, they got to do something about that. He should only have 2, and one throws you behind and one throws you forward. None of this, if the head's facing you, he does this. The leg's facing you, he does this.
It's weird, dude. I don't even know how it, even works out to get the one that you need.
Yeah. I looked at the move list. It says something about it depends on whether their head or their feet are facing you, but that's dumb.
That's weird.
Still, it's an air grab. Air grabs are tight.
Yeah, air grabs they're always hype. It's always like, oh shit.
Yeah. Like Grundy's?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's super long knockdown.
Yeah, I like how it looks like he's just picking up something like he's reaching up to pick up something casually. He's like, oh, gotcha.
Like he's picking grapes.
Yeah, sure. Grundy grapes.
Is Grundy good? Dude, Bill.
God, you're asking me the most ridiculous questions today.
That's not ridiculous at all.
Well, it is, sort of.
How?
Because it's ridiculous. All right, so is Grundy good or is he a Bill? Why don't you answer first?
Okay. Tyrant is a pretty good player. I've played him a few times now. I think he's good.
Yeah, of course he's good.
But his results, and I would argue he's pretty much the only Grundy at this point, are super inconsistent.
Yeah.
On any given day, he can win, or he could go 0-2 like he just did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'd like to give Tyrant the benefit of the doubt. Very good player, very clutch. Is Grundy just really playing him in tournament, just not working out so well?
I don't know. I mean, because sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. He got second at NEC, which is arguably at the time the hardest major, the non-Evo major. And he got second. That's no, it's not like he just did well.
No, yeah.
But then sometimes he goes 0-2. So maybe he's a really strong character that's just inconsistent.
I can buy that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this game that's so strange is there are a lot of strong characters that have the weirdest trouble matchups. I mean, Okay, like for instance, look at Grundy. Good example because we're talking about him conveniently.
Okay.
And like he does well against a lot of the top tiers. Like he can handle stuff. His damage is insane. But then he'll like lose to like randomly like Nightwing, really bad. Right? I mean, from what I've heard from Tyrant at least. Or like take Martian, arguably the best in the game. Potentially, Jupiter believes he loses to Lex Luthor.
Right, I've heard that as well.
Yeah, like out of nowhere. Which I've also played that match in tournament and won. I like that match. So, it's like there's a bunch of weird matches with like that have like slight problems with like a lot of top tiers have problems with weird characters. So Grundy could be one of those people who like if he runs into a Nightwing, he's boned. If he runs into a Shazam, which is really hard by the way for Grundy, he's boned. But if he runs into like a Martian or a Superman or something weird like that, he can somehow win the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, you got kind of a good point. I mean, let's look at 16-bit. I mean, at final round, he basically went through Batman, Doomsday. Who else? Because he lost to Sonic Fox in top 8.
Who did he fight before Doomsday? It was Flash.
Oh, Flash. Harold, right. Beat Harold. So he had Flash, Doomsday, Batman before that. And I'm not sure the ones in pools, but... Oh, Gross, Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Now, he has a lot of experience in all of those matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't just not only him outplaying, he danced his way around his matchups. So, his path was great. Even if Catwoman is like a whatever character. And if you think about it, there is a path at SCR where if he doesn't lose to Big Boy, he goes up against Crazy, and he has a good record against Martian Manhunter. And then he goes up against who did Big Boy place for top? Who does Big Boy fight for top 8?
Who did he fight for top 8? I don't even remember. King? Maybe? No, not King. No, that doesn't make any sense. King was in winners, wasn't he? Wait, what?
Yeah, he would have been in losers. So, wasn't White Boy or myself.
Oh, Nubcakes.
So he could have fought Martian Manhunter, Batman, in top 8. And then Nightwing, because he would have taken, Nubcake's spot. He would have had to fight Nightwing.
And then me, whoever I would have chosen. So
whoever you would have chosen. And then if he beat you, he would have had to fight another Batman.
No, he would have fought DJT because that was losers already.
Right, and he did good against DJT and casuals afterwards. Very well. Like there's a path where he could get, win.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Grundy is maybe not Catwoman's level. That's a little crazy. Even I think that's nuts. But maybe it's that kind of thing where he kind of is. He's good, but he kind of also is praying for the right bracket.
Yeah. Understandably. I think it's really important to have like a backup character in this game.
Obviously, he reminds me a lot of Abel. He plays Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
Abel's good against most of the cast. Like arguably, like very, very good even. But then you run into like Rufus or Cammy or Fei Long, and his viability just starts to just slam into the ground. But if he's allowed to kind of play his game, like Rico Suave, you almost got top 8 at Evo one year, I think. And Abel's got good placings kind of, around the country at certain spots. If he can get the right bracket, he could definitely do it. But he runs into a lot of problems with these certain characters that kind of having to hang around like top 16, top 8, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Could be the same kind of deal here.
Yeah.
Where he's good against most of the cast, but just those little problems are really, really annoying.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Like, again, Tyrant's, he's beaten some of the best players in the world, but he also, can go 0-2, so it could be that. Right. It could be matchups.
Yeah.
And he ran into a cyborg yesterday
Oh, yeah.
that he couldn't handle. But he's also gotten second in a major, so who knows? But the character does still have infinite armor and does 80% for a hit, so it's hard to say he sucks. I won't say he's a Bill at all.
Well, no. Let me rephrase what I say. When I say Bill, I don't mean like Catwoman tier. I mean you guys were, you were on KTP saying he could be top 5. That's a Bill.
Come
Come on, man.
I don't know. He could be top 5. He could be bottom 5. I don't know. He's weird like that.
That's too broad.
It is broad because he's just a character that doesn't make sense.
That's true. People would say the same thing about Bane.
Yeah.
Well, Bane. Let's be honest, Bane's probably better than Freddy.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all.
I don't know. Bane's pretty ridiculous.
I mean, Bane's good, but I don't know. I need to see more of Bane actually doing well. Like I would like to see Bane do well with West Coast competition. Because we've seen Gur do well and we've seen Max do well, but they usually do well in their own areas somewhat, or like in tournaments that are filled with their own players. So I would like to see it. I would like to see it first.
Fair enough. What was I going to say? You mean you weren't impressed by Doombox at final round?
I was impressed by his shirt. I was impressed by his shirt very much.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
I'm glad Doombox came, and when they made the prediction thread, no one was like, oh, he might get top 8. Because this happened to a lot in MK, where guys that were loud on the forums would all of a sudden now they're in top 8 potential. I'm glad to see the community kind of got over that.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, that's sort of what Rebellos are, but the community's, it's not going to do that as much.
Back in the day, it wasn't even rebelling. Like, if you just happened to talk a lot on forums, you were like remember how, like, back at EVO, like EVO 2012, if you look, and I'm sure if you really cared and took the time, you could find the EVO 2012 predictions thread. There was like 75 to 80% of the people that had Glue or Foxy in their top 3.
I knew you were going to bring them up. Yeah.
Yeah. Based on what, really?
Well, the reason why it's so easy for them to do it is if they just talk a lot, they can never prove themselves because there's no opportunity to. So a lot of people just kind of have to assume that they're good by the way they talk.
Right.
Which is difficult.
That's a good point. Ninja's a classic Bill. Remember him?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I do. I'm not sure if Ninja was like in that situation or if he was just rebelloed a lot.
It could be a little bit of both. Could be more of the rebello part, but it doesn't happen as much nowadays. I think now you have to kind of be more legit.
Yeah. Well, there's so many opportunities to prove yourself. So.
Right. Another thing I wanted to ask: what did you think about Pig's ranking system?
I actually was asked to give some opinions on the ranking system from him. It's a fun ranking system. I don't know. It's really hard for me to give any concrete stuff. I helped him like decide on some numbers and stuff, like mostly numbers about like what percentages to give to which people and like stuff like that. So I don't know. It's pretty cool if it's used for fun. But I don't know. It's really, ranking systems are tough.
Yeah,
I played the fifth.
Yeah, they played the fifth. They're super subjective. Like, it's really hard to make an objective one. Because, like, I like Pig's point where he wanted to do, like, West Coast, like, SCR is worth a lot of points because it's, like, one of the only ones. At the same time, you can see the flaw in the logic where it's not really fair to, even though East Coast guys have a ton of tournaments, maybe it's not that fair
where NEC was like super good, super stacked, but it's still worth less than SCR. A lot less.
There's really no like good way to do it. There's no 100% fair way to do it. And the only way is if, like, say you have MLG. What MLG does is you just strictly seed based off of results from MLGs, and there's MLGs in every area, so it's all fair.
Right, Raleigh, Anaheim.
Right, but
Dallas, yeah.
Like the all the different tournaments, they're like grassroots. They're all different. They all have different competition, different rules, different venue sizes, stuff like that. So it's always going to be different. It's hard to put in a ranking.
It's true, and I think it was a good attempt, and obviously everyone's gonna have problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the attempt was good. I think because now after final round especially, they got to iron out the whole seeding thing, how it's gonna work out,
Yeah.
and how long seeding should last. That was an interesting topic. A year, I think they agreed like a year. It's probably around like how long your results can last.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, I know Pig said 9 months. I don't necessarily disagree with that either. It's hard, though. There's no real good answer.
Yeah. Because how long, these guys get to sit on their ranking, basically.
Yeah. It's hard. It's always hard to put people into, like, categories like that.
Right. Hell, we're still hard enough that people are having a hard enough time getting regional seating done.
Yeah.
I'll say, like, at any given time, you'll have, like, 3 AK guys in the same fucking pool. Which, that happened at Final Run, actually, in the original pools, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and then Pig made a ruckus.
A ruckus.
Yeah, which, of course... Yeah, I mean, there shouldn't be a...
Right,
that shouldn't happen. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good that the question's being asked at least.
Yeah. I give Chef. Wow. Sorry.
Chef.
I give Chef. And the funny thing is, I give Chef props. That's hilarious. But I
mean, self-props in the third person.
Dude, I know. I give Chef props for being awesome and having an awesome podcast. No, I give Pig props for taking the initiative to do something like that. That's a step we could go in. That could be a good direction to go in. So I give him props.
Yeah, I agree. I just think I think talking about it is better than not doing it at all. Because like Jaxel, I know Jaxel's been trying to do one for years,
mm-hmm.
and the problem with Jaxel is when you give Jaxel, you get a gentleman with a tinfoil hat on his head, citing conspiracy theories out the ass. Whereas with Pig, it's more of just like, here's cotton done, and here it is, which I like. Crimson Shadow's working on it too, and he's a pretty smart guy. But I figured it out.
Yeah, it'll. I mean, I want to see if they're going to continue pushing to have that one used.
Yeah, because the talk is kind of dying down, at least this week.
Yeah. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully it'll come back.
Yeah, there's
a lot of fun to talk about.
Yeah, are you on that list? You should be on that list, right?
Yeah, I have like 37 points or something like that.
I'm like 20th on the list, 22nd actually.
Second. Yeah, I said 4th. Are they still counting Evo too?
I think so. Yeah, they are because Slayer's 4th.
Okay, yeah. So the big talk, of course, was KZ being number 1 seed, and tough call.
Wait, was KZ number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the new, I'm talking about the new revised one that he did, like not the original one he put out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because it wasn't Theo number 1 originally.
It was like Theo or King.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's and he had a new one out where KDZ was top.
Yeah, that's right. I skipped immediately to myself.
Oh my god.
I was like, I don't care who changed. Let me check it. Am I still in the top 30?
This props Fisher.
Yes.
Brady levels here. My God. Because Evo should hold a lot of weight, but in Winter Brawl, I mean, obviously it's Summer Jam and Winter Brawl, decent wins.
Yeah, but there's no there's no way to fairly judge how much credit you should get per tournament. So
yeah, it's an interesting topic. Hopefully, again, we'll get it resolved later. Well, I think that'll about do it. I mean, we had so much to talk about. Hope we could cover it all. I mean, obviously, we can't get it all, but as we tried the best we could. This is our first show back, so we're trying to get back into the swing of things.
Yep.
And hopefully by the next time we'll be a little more concise program for you. A little more to talk about.
Dude, there was just so much to talk about this time.
There was. I mean, yeah, and it's hard to keep it all in your head.
Mm-hmm. Probably missed a bunch.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So I mean, if you guys think we missed anything, put it in the threads. Put what we missed, and we'll move it to the next show or the next podcast. We'll talk about it more because obviously there's a lot of things and anything we missed at all. Please let us know. Let us know on Twitter. He's at what is it? EGP Wonder Chef.
Yeah, EGP_Wonder_Chef.
Underscore chef. I'm at KingHippo42. You obviously follow the thread. We'll try and do these again. And I don't know, because the podcast died, which is really interesting, actually. Before SCR and Final Round, there was 90 billion podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Not even exaggerating. There was 90 billion.
Maybe 100 billion.
Maybe 100 billion, right. I might even be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Final Round, they just kind of went away.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the DMS one. I haven't seen Dave's. KTP is the only one that's still chugging like normal.
Yeah, of course, the classic.
Classic. So we had to hop on it, of course, while we could.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we'll get all the attention, which we wanted in the first place.
We're like, we have the monopoly now.
Right. Yeah.
The prop monopoly.
The propopoly.
Damn. Well, Propopoly?
Damn. Propopoly. Yeah, Propopoly.
Propopoly. I like it. There we go. Well, we can stick with that.
We might even rename the show, the podcast, to the Propopoly podcast. Propopoly. All right. Well, for WCW podcast, this has been myself. I'm King Hippo.
And I have one more thing. I ruined the outro. I know I ruined the outro. Damn. But I needed to do this because I wanted to give it one big shout out because it's important to Basm or Brian, because I swear every week since we stopped recording the podcast, he has come up to me and been like, "When's the next podcast? I wanted to hear you guys do more podcasts." And he always asks us when's the next podcast. And on top of that, he's moving from SoCal to NorCal, so he's going to be gone within the month, which sucks because he was a really cool dude and a really cool addition to the scene. And a really good player. He played Black Adam and Shazam. Of course, I love it because he plays Shazam. Right. So I wanted to give a big shout out to him for constantly asking when we're going to record the next one, because here it is.
Yeah.
And so there we go. Shout outs to Basm, aka Brian.
Basm.
And now I'm done. There we go.
All right. So once again, for WCW, this has been King Hippo.
And Wonder Chef.
Thanks for not fucking that up. We'll see you guys next time.
See you next time.